Green flag, back in the air. Brendan Maddox, Adam Buzzio, the whole field chomping at the bit. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. The Lucky Performance Overtime rules reminding you that if we get back around to the white flag, this race is official. Buzzio with a push from Dyer. Maddox with a push from Hughes. Zach, I think we're going to get there.
I think we will. Coming back around, Buzzio leads the group. Through the tri-oval we go. No caution. Sam Dyer looks to the outside. Free wide for the race lead. White flag is in the air, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Dyer is all by himself on the top line, Andrew. There is nothing that he can do. He's going to start dropping back, and Brendan Maddox is out in front by himself. I do not want to have a gap that big.
We'll see how this one works out. Maddox moves up, now moves down. That checks up the bottom side. Here comes Buzzio. Here comes Camper. Here comes Plord, all on the top side of the racetrack. Maddox now going to try and fight back on the bottom with a push from Buzzio's teammate. That's Hughes down low, and Hughes isn't pushing the 8. Now he gets there from a push from Mason Houseman to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race. Adam Buzzio, Dakota Camper. He's going to look down to the inside, and Camper is going to shove alongside of the 5. Dakota Camper, maybe. No, Buzzio's got to win this season.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.
Just 3 rounds remain in Season 5 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series, and being at Talladega this evening, we already know to expect the unexpected. Points margins are tight, and the big one is just around each and every corner, so who can survive Talladega tonight? Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Lincoln, Alabama. My name, of course, is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Emerson Arden back on the mic with me this evening, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage once again of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Tonight's coverage from Talladega is brought to you by Sundance Pizza, by the BRB Racing League, and by all series partners. Emerson is Talladega Superspeedway. It is that tri-oval shaped, highly banked, 32 to 33 degree banked super speedway that we've known and loved for 60 some odd years at this point. I think this year might actually be 60 years for the race. No, I think 69 was when it opened. Regardless, this place has been around forever. It's so fun to go race, but it's also nerve-wracking when points are on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are in prime position right now in the playoff standings, this is the last race you want to see coming up on the calendar. Talladega Superspeedway, you know, we preach it all the time. It is a race that is mostly luck. You got to put yourself in the right place to capitalize on opportunities at the right time. But for the most part, a lot of things are out of your control. 33 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, 32.5 degrees in turns 3 and 4 is the banking. The tri-oval, I believe, is 18 degrees of banking as well. The biggest oval we have on the NASCAR calendar, and it's fun. I mean, you're going to be wide open. These drivers are going to be running in packs. There's going to be a lot of strategy involved. For 100 laps, I don't know how intense it's going to be on the front end, but we do have that stage at lap 30. That's also going to bring some intensity, and I'm ready for it, man.
I am as well. I don't know what these drivers are. Honestly, last night, there were some tempers. There were definitely some tempers flaring in last night's practice race here at Talladega Superspeedway, just trying to get ready for this event. But let's go ahead and look over the point standings. I mentioned in my little intro there, they are super tight. And Emerson, we even talked about it a little bit at the back end of last week's show at Watkins Glen. It is super tight at the top end, and really the whole top half of the chase. I would even throw Scott Fritz and Coulter Clark in there. They're just within territory to go fight for this championship still. I think Carl Buehler still has a chance. Technically, I'd say if you're Parent, White, or Patinko, it's got to be a miracle kind of night, max points, and then we'll see how we are going into Phoenix. I don't think anybody's out of it technically, but you know, just being realistic, you definitely want to be in the top half right now for sure.
100%, Andrew. As we were mentioning before we even went on the air, car count is going to be a big talk of the show, because especially if you are someone like Parent, White, and Patinko, you're going to need to lean on car count, and unfortunately, some unfortunate luck for your competitors to get yourself back into the thick of the mix of the playoff standings, because if you don't, leaving tonight and you have a near 50-point deficit, it's not over, but it's certainly going to feel like it.
Also want to mention out there, for those of you watching on YouTube this evening, it does seem that YouTube is experiencing a bit of a homepage outage, so we're glad you found us so far. Make sure to share the link with your friends. If you have friends that say they can't get to the stream or whatever, it seems like clearly you guys are watching, so links are okay, direct links that is. Share the link around. Make sure people can watch this race. It seems like homepage is struggling this evening, but direct links should be okay. And Emerson, I think you even said something about circumnavigating to the homepage or around the homepage, whatever, while we were getting ready to go live this evening. So it does seem like YouTube is having some issues. We are fine though, as we press on here tonight. We do, of course, have a few drivers to talk to in tonight's MX Wraps pre-race show. Let's go ahead and get to the first one of them. That is going to be Johnny Wood Jr., who has some big-time stats to back him up as a reason, you know, a driver we need to watch this evening here, Emerson. And Johnny, I see you're in the pit lane right now, but have you taken any time yet to practice in the pack?
Only 2 cars. I was talking to Steven and Richard about how the car acts and everything, and but not really. I just tried to go out with the pack, and I was kind of slow, lazy getting off pit road, and kind of lost them. Me and Steven done a couple laps just tandem drafting, and car won't really, you know, suck up without somebody behind you. You kind of need at least 3 cars or 4 cars to make some speed. is what I found so far.
And looking through some stats earlier, I noticed that you lead active full-time BRB drivers in super speedway average finish. It's a 5.8 average finish in 6 starts. I think it's only counting Daytona, Talladega. Regardless, that's a pretty impressive stat for Daytona and Talladega to have a near top 5 average finish. How do you explain that? How have you been able to amass that?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I would say I'm just happy to finish in the top 5, top 10 on a speedway. Just don't wreck out. And I think that carries over to how you drive over the course of the whole race. I'm always willing to just push somebody to the win. You know, like that, what was that, Chase Elliott mentality? Push them to the win, or push them up there, you at least finish second kind of thing. I don't think I've won a speedway here yet. I don't think so.
I don't think you have. But Emerson, what you got for him?
Well, Johnny, you come into today's race tied atop the standings. Does you having that kind of positioning in the point standings, does that alter the way you approach tonight's race, or the stage at lap 30 for that matter? Or, you know, your aggression maybe, as opposed to if you were a little lower in the standings, would you be really pushing?
Yeah, it's got me a little nervous. I didn't really expect to come out leading / tied with the points after last week. It kind of surprised me when the points got put up. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, this is a big deal. Coming out of here would be a big deal if you go out there and crash and get, 33rd or however many cars we got in here. That's gonna hurt bad. So being ultra careful this time. I believe, like, strategy wise, I don't think we can make it to the first stage, so that'll be kind of interesting on how I may or may not qualify. After watching this year's Daytona, I kind of pulled a few strategies in my head, so we'll see how much you can save and how much yellow flags are thrown, and so on and so forth.
And of course, after tonight, Johnny, 2 races to go. No matter what happens tonight, those are the 2 races, Phoenix and Miami. They feel like they're kind of in your wheelhouse. So are you kind of just trying to stay afloat tonight and get to those 2 races? Or, what's the strategy there, remembering you've got 2 races that I would think at least would be kind of up your alley?
Yeah, I mean, stay afloat, get by, don't wreck, don't crash out kind of thing. Maybe pull like a Ricky Stenhouse finish, just kind of sneak around for a little while and then finish second. That'd be great. That'd be a good day.
Fair enough. Well, Johnny Wood Jr. tied for the points lead, leading active BRB drivers in super speedway average finish. That is, at least with multiple starts. That was the asterisk I wanted to add there. Technically, Jourdain has a better average finish, but Johnny, you have a chance to go get him tonight. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And Johnny Wood Jr., I think, personally, Emerson still 100% leads that category. Jourdain White's 1 speedway finish, again, Daytona and Talladega, was earlier this season. There's only the 1 finish to his name in that way. So I definitely think Johnny is the true leader of that stat, but hey, I could take some arguments maybe on that one. But I do want to take a look at this graphic here next, as it looks like things are going to interfere with it there. But we have talked all season about the difference between cars from the Cup car last season and the last several seasons, now over to the ARCA car Emerson. I know this ARCA car released on iRacing right about the time that you kind of wound down your racing experiences on the sim, but it's a really fun car to draft on Daytona, Talladega, tracks like this. What's your experience been so far with this new ARCA car?
Yeah, certainly it's been a lot of fun. The consensus I hear in the sim is that it's really tight, but that shouldn't be too much of a factor here. At Talladega, where the track is very wide, maybe 30 air might have a play at that. But as far as speedways, yeah, it's gonna make for a great race. Seems like it's really easy to kind of generate runs and kind of close up gaps. And so the ARCA car will be fun, especially I think the speed disparity won't be as great of a difference when you're running out there. And so if you get into some trouble, as long as you keep your momentum up, keep the RPMs up, you should still have a chance to hang in the pack, and that's really gonna be everything, I guess. Because that's probably the one deficit of the ARCA car is how hard it is to get momentum. if you keep the momentum up, you should be A-okay with the circuit car.
I think certainly keeping the engine spooled up and just kind of playing with the brake as opposed to lifting the gas, I think is key to stay competitive in a draft. But these guys obviously will want to save fuel tonight, so we'll see. I think a variety of strategies out there through the field. The field, by the way, you mentioned car count, Emerson. Looking at 22 cars so far, and I think certainly we should see a few more sign in before the end of practice here in about 9 more minutes. Before we get to our next driver, we do want to take a look here at the practice standings. Richard Wolsifer on top. I mean, it's Talladega, though. You know, frankly, it's I don't want to say a crapshoot, but it's pretty close. Certainly, there are skills required to be good here at Talladega Superspeedway, but it's certainly easier, I think, to achieve those skills, and those skills maybe don't apply to some of the other tracks we visit on the schedule. Regardless, we do have another driver to speak to, a couple drivers to speak to yet this evening. One of them being the driver of the number 81 over at Whiplash Racing, and that is Evan Patinko. So we can bring in driver number 81 this evening. And Evan, I was looking through some stats, just like I was talking with Johnny a minute ago. You have the lowest average incidents per race on super speedways of chase drivers this season. I had to dig deep for some of these stats. Johnny's was a good one. You've got a good one here, but you got the lowest average incident per race on super speedways, meaning Daytona and Talladega, coming into tonight, 7.78, so less than 2 crashes basically. Does that help you maybe feel better about tonight, knowing that literally anything can happen when we drop the green flag?
Well, I mean, it's nice to know that it seems like I'm finishing these races, at least not getting caught up in too many incidents. I think the big thing is just be smart, know who you're around at all times. Don't press the issue, and you know, you got to be there at the end to have a chance to win. So
now, Evan, you come into today's race a little bit on the lower side of the playoff standings, 47 points, but a race like Talladega could be the one you need, the one, you know, big factor you need to flip this playoff standings around. Does your positioning in the playoffs affect the way you're going to attack today's race? Are you going to be more conservative, kind of maybe wait for a big wreck to come around and take, you know, maybe some of your competitors out? Or are you going to be up there really making moves, trying to lead this thing? They're trying to capitalize on and maximize your points input for today.
well, I've been wrestling that decision. I feel like everything's telling me to hang around in the back, just kind of wait for the big one and, you know, be there at the end. But with the lower car count, you know, I got to make a big swing, so I'm going to have to go for the stage. I'm going to have to go for the laps led, you know, and just try and maximize as many points as I can and see where we are, you know, heading into the final 2 races after this one.
And those final 2 races, I think they are certainly driver racetracks. They're kind of more traditional speedways in the NASCAR sense. But, Evan, I think at either one of those racetracks, anything can still happen. We've seen crazy things at Phoenix and Homestead before. Does that maybe, again, does that kind of help your mind a little bit, knowing that truly anything can happen these last couple of weeks? And I really wouldn't count you or anybody out of this chase just yet.
No, I don't think anyone's out yet. You know, just I'm 47 points down. That's a big gap to overcome, especially with this lower car count. You know, Phoenix, I'm all right there. Homestead, enjoy the track, but sometimes find myself in trouble with that outside wall. So I just want to take it 1 week at a time, have some fun, you know, try and put together a string of good finishes to end the season, and get ready for the next one after that.
Who knows, Evan Patinko could grab a win here tonight and finally end that streak of starts without a win. Evan, we're rooting for you this evening. Best of luck.
I appreciate it. Have fun, guys.
Evan Patinko certainly trying to snap that winless streak there. He will go off of pit lane. He's the only driver, I believe, in the series to have started every single race, and he is still winless. So that, I mean, that goes back to season number 1. He started every race of this series. He's never missed one, and is looking to finally put a 1 or a tally in that win column. But Emerson, on down to our next driver. on our list, and that's going to be Dakota Bly. I mentioned Evan Patinko possibly playing a spoiler. I think this guy absolutely could be a spoiler tonight. Dakota Bly also looking for a win here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series for the first time. And Dakota, there's, I think, no place better for it to come than Talladega, especially in that paint scheme you've got this evening. You also have the best start-to-finish differential on super speedways, Daytona and Talladega, in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. That is 17 positions gained per race from your start position to your finish position. That's a pretty hefty stat to have. Does that make you feel better?
I mean, nothing makes me feel that much better. You know, there's always going to be some level of chaos every race, but I feel like I have a good ability to avoid most of the chaos. So that's kind of my approach for tonight as well.
Okay, that kind of leads into the question on how are you attacking tonight. Being a driver that can play playoff spoiler tonight, I was going to ask if there's any friends or teammates that you're trying to work to try to help them out in the playoff settings today, or is it all the again this 8 machine up front with the best finish you can get out of here tonight?
Well, honestly, I don't have too many teammates that are battling for much, but you know, if my buddy Evan's anywhere near the front and I can try and get him some sort of a better finish to really help his playoff push. You know, he is a former teammate, and I'd be happy to help him out if we can get him up there. But otherwise, if there's no one else up there, we're shooting for the stars.
And how about this paint scheme? We've seen you crack out the Dale Jr., you know, the old number 8 font that he brought back to Junior Motorsports recently. Now you're into a Hendrick Motorsports paint scheme that, I mean, this is one of my favorites from his tenure over there in the 88 car. Why this one specifically, though?
Honestly, it's just because I got a new job that I'm starting, and it's gonna be kind of like doing like distributing Pepsi and like Mountain Dew and also amp. So I thought, you know, what a fun way to tie that in by running one of my favorite amp schemes.
Hey, if you can just pass word up the ladder to make sure that we keep Rockstar Fruit Punch around, that's what I need. So I would appreciate that. But Dakota, good to talk to you this evening. We're rooting for Evan, but also for you and really everybody here to have a good race. But best of luck out there, still hunting that first win. And hey, the 8 belongs out front at Talladega.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Emerson.
Dakota Bly with a good chance to go for a win here tonight. His teammate currently on top of the practice charts, and that might make him feel a little bit better. It's Jason Bottoms out there in the number 17 on top of things in that Goat Fuel energy drink Chevrolet. And Emerson, this actually brings me to our next order of business, I suppose, and that would be, well, I'm going to switch things around. Technically, the next order of business would traditionally be power rankings. We'll get there in a second. I want to hit best in show here while we can before qualifying, and I'm going to go ahead, actually, and I'm going to go first. I'm going to give you a chance to look at paint schemes here in a second. I'm trying to get a good view of the 17. There it is. We'll go with that. We haven't really had a chance to focus on Jason Bottoms yet this season. Let's do it. Jason Bottoms for best in show this evening. I like this look. It's very energy drink forward. I like it. It definitely speaks the brand. And then certainly Jason Bottoms on that list. I want to also go down to the number, where did he go? 16. Robert Moyer Jr. He unveiled this paint scheme recently, and I like it. It's a different look. I like the red. It works.
Yeah, I mean that's, you know, great red car out here. I mean, you think that you pair that with what we're talking about with Dakota Bly. You know, I think red belongs out front at Talladega. You know, why not? Robert Moyer. The one I was looking at earlier, definitely the 32 car caught my eye. So it's just a scheme I hadn't really found too much to take a look at, but I did notice that bright blue, and I guess it's not out on track right now. But that would be one car that I'd like to nominate here for best in show. And then I was kind of also having a look around, seeing what else there was out there on the table, if you will.
I've really enjoyed this one before. I like the Irma's Tacos 00. Jordan White's back out there in his 83 that he unveiled last week. Carl Pooler back out there in the Blue Moon Special. Otherwise, I'm trying to see ones that you and I didn't get a chance to look at in pre-broadcast. Zachary Hall was in the car for a second. I'm trying to get his car on screen. I guess he's not working with us. That's okay. Evan Patinko's out there in that Jeff Gordon 2013 look-alike. Scott Fritz in another Jimmy Johnson. I know you're nominating this one. I'll go ahead and start typing it.
I love White Lightning, man. It was actually a pretty good card to Jimmy on the super speedways in 2013. He swept Daytona with it, and then I just think that card looked very nice. I don't think it did him too well outside of plate tracks, but you know what? If there's a speedway or a track type you're gonna bring out White Lightning for, Talladega.
I knew it. Well, that vote is now live over on YouTube, and you can go ahead and make your vote between the 16, 17, the 32, and the 48 on our Best in Show contest brought to you by mxwraps.com. I do want to take a look briefly, of course, at our power rankings, as I mentioned before we go qualifying this evening. And there you have it. Zach Hall still on top. Of course, swept, well, didn't sweep anything. He got the stage, started on pole, won the stage, and won the race last week. So he stays on top of those power rankings. But don't look now at Adam Buzzio staying in second place. He's been strong lately as well. And then, boy, third, fourth, and fifth, even sixth and seventh on top of each other here. Johnny Wood Jr. down through Richard Wolsifer from third to seventh, only 2.3 points separating them. So very, very tight there in the midsection of this top 10. And then you see the effect of last week's race on Josh Parrott. That's dropped him from, I believe, 4th all the way down to 8th. And then Carl Puller has moved up into the top 10. So he joined some of his Chase competitors up there in the top 10 now on the power rankings. Finally getting back into this top 10 after being in it earlier this season. So that's a look at our power rankings coming into tonight, Emerson. And we've got cars hitting the racetrack for qualifying.
Absolutely. Here we go at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, this is always a trying time on a driver.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hit everything perfect. I think, we watched a lot of Daytona this week, and a lot of the qualifying, I think over qualifying was a lot of these drivers saying, team worked so hard to get this car here to the track. Now, of course, the virtual teams, but the car, all the cars are the same coming here today. This is literally about nailing your shift points, not letting the car sit in like third gear for too long to kind of kill any of your momentum, not turning the wheel too much in the corners to scrub off any speed. This is about being perfect. Who can keep the momentum up all the way around this big, bad, fast 2.66 mile tri-oval?
Looking through some of the onboard options we've got this evening. Here's one on board with Johnny Wood Jr. as Brendan Maddox gets the first lap in of the field, and Zach Maddox will follow. Here's Johnny Wood Jr. through the tri-oval to begin his second lap and end his first. He'll drop down and take that bottom line now. We jump over to Zach Hall, and we'll take a look at that number 32. This is the paint scheme he ran earlier this season. Emerson hasn't seen it, though, yet, so I think it's a fair play to nominate it for driver, or not driver, but paint scheme. Best in show, there we go, for the number 32. He's coming around to end lap 1. I'm surprised he ran low on lap 1, Emerson, but he will do so as Robert Moyer Jr. will go to the top now, unseated by Zach Hall, but again, he ran the bottom there on the opening lap, so I wonder how that's going to hold up as we go on board with car 16. And we can hit the 23 car. He has just ended his second lap. Will he go up to the top? No. 5th place, Brendan Maddox. Zach Maddox will go faster. Carl Puller, though, goes even faster. He's still got a lap on the board, though, as some of the second lap times are starting to roll in. There's one of them. How about Cole Lewis?
Yeah, the 52 shot up the leaderboard, and there's a couple different perspectives when you look at qualifying as well. A lot of drivers will try to have a really slow, roll off pit road, trying to minimize how much fuel they use. I don't know how detailed the sim is in this regard, but maybe more fuel keeps the rear end of the car out of the air is definitely a view I've heard, as far as trying to go for the first lap qualifying versus second lap, get as much fuel as you can out of the car, make the car as light as possible, and really hammer it down for lap 2.
There's Evan Batinko across the line to wrap up his first lap. He goes 14th quick. Carl Puller in the 13th spot just ahead of him. And Adam Buzzio in 12th just ahead. As now Josh Parrott jumps up to the 6th position in his Whiplash SimCams Ford out of Detroit, Michigan. Down further through the order, Jamie Plord on track in car number 38. Good to see him back this evening. He will complete our 25 car field, it looks like, as he runs through the tri-oval. And he will just get one lap in here at Talladega. Jason Bottoms in qualifying will not set a lap of record. Neither will Dakota Bly. So it'll put Bottoms, Bly, and Dorsey all at the back of the field. Dorsey not getting a lap time in either here in the number 9 car. There he is in the pit lane. And buzzer beater laps, I don't think we're going to have any. Oh, Patinko maybe. No, lap 2 a little bit slower for the number 81, so he will stay down in about the 17th spot. So that will do it for qualifying here this evening. Pole qualifying at Talladega Superspeedway, always a contentious time. It's definitely a stressful time for some of these guys. You're finding out where you're going to start this race, and that can certainly affect the rest of your day, depending on how things go from there. That will conclude tonight's MXWraps.com pre-race show. Thanks for tuning in thus far. I certainly do appreciate it as we get ready to go racing for 100 laps at Talladega Superspeedway, 266 miles. And we'll take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details in just a moment. For now, though, cars are hitting the grid, and this just might be a first career pole for Cole Lewis out of Canada in that number 52 Tito's Vodka Chevrolet SS. Good to see him starting out front here tonight. Cole Lewis going to lead us to the green. Back in the second spot, it'll be Johnny Wood Jr. He, of course, tied for the points lead. Needs a big night tonight. Could start that off with some stage points. Let's see how he can do, as Zach Hall and Scott Fritz will roll off from row number 2 just behind. In the fifth spot, you will find Sam Dyer in car 35 alongside the number 22 of Josh Parent. And Josh will have a team up behind him in row 4 as William Maple Jr. will start to the inside of row 4, but Anthony Teseo will start on the outside and lined up behind his Whiplash Racing teammate. Back in row 5, you'll find Stephen Borbell also tied to lead the standings, tied with the number 75 we talked to earlier, and Robert Moyer Jr., last week's driver of the day, will roll off from 10th.
That'll be the 54 of Coulter Clark starting P11. Jordan White, the number 83 machine, will round out row 6 in P12. The 00, Dustin Stallings, will start 13th. It'll be the 5 of Adam Buzzio in P14 for row 7. Row number 8 consists of car number 71 for Carl Puller and car number 38 for Jamie Plord. Back to row number 9, it'll be the 81 of Evan Patinko and the 81 machine, looking for a great points run today. And the 14 of Zachary Maddox in P18. Row 10 will be the 56 of Richard Wolsifer and the 23 of Brendan Maddox.
5 cars wrap the field up. Those are Gray Walker in the number 18, Dan Stockero in that number 62, Cody Dorsey, Dakota Bly, and Jason Bottoms, all of the redacted motorsports drivers at the back of the field. We can take a look, of course, at your Whiplash SimCam's race details. There they are, 100 laps here tonight. Stage will complete at the end of lap number 30, so it's a 30-70 split for sure, and that 70 lap stage 2 will be a little bit interesting. I don't know exactly how long these guys can go on fuel. Memory, if it serves me correctly from Daytona, tells me about 22 to 25 laps, but that might vary just a little bit. Fix setups, 3 pretty much records as normal. No fast fix for these guys, despite being at the great Talladega Speedway here tonight. Weather conditions brought to you by MXWraps.com. Here they are, 77.9 degrees in the air, and we are set to May 15th of 2026 in the sim, so that makes sense as to why it's a little bit warmer here today. Certainly was not 78 degrees down in Lincoln, Alabama today on February the 17th, but that's okay. It's a little bit warmer for these guys. Gives them some good racing weather here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure, as always, to bring you BRB Sundance Pro Series racing coverage, and here we go into the Tri-Oval at the famed Talladega Superspeedway. 3 races to go in Season 5. The Accelerate Studios 266 at Talladega is green. Off of turn number 2 and down the Alabama Gang super stretch already. Cars fanning out, trying to find their lane. 2 cars drop down. Those are the 75 and the 48. 1 goes high. That's the 83 of Jordan White. 1 went low. That was the 54 of Coulter Clark.
Yeah, already early trying to separate the drivers who are going to be trying to run up front for track position all day long, and the drivers who are maybe going to bide their time a little bit, at least here early in the going, as we are still coming around off of turn number 4 and do the trial to complete lap 1 here at Talladega.
That pesky pace car getting in the way of the camera there, coming to the line, but Josh Parent, it looks like, leads lap 1, and the number 22, Johnny Wood Jr. got out to an early lead. He and Scott Fritz dropped down low on the bottom lane, and already the top lane seems to be the place to be, as the 22 and 15 power ahead to the race lead early here, but boy, a very clean start for these guys. I do suspect this is going to be a somewhat calm beginning, but who knows how they start racing once they start to realize that stage points are on the line.
I'll also be intrigued to see, as you mentioned, Andrew, that, and we heard during the pre-show as well, that they're not going to be able to make it in stage 1 without a pit stop. And to see what the game plan is. Will everyone try to make it as far as you can? Just take a splash and then pit for 4 tires at the stage? Or pit for 4 tires now, maybe only take a splash at the stage. No tires. Tires, aren't necessary. See what the game plan is. You fill up your tank, I guess, more or less is the question. During the stage, you take a splash at the stage. A lot of strategy could come out of this stage.
You'll definitely want to take no tires through at least stage 1, if not also stage 2. Maybe get some tires at stage break, but I'll be honest, Emerson, I was able to run an ARCA Daytona race recently in the UFL, and frankly, I didn't take tires all race. I went all 100 laps at Daytona on the same set, and the car was fine. Now, that was a sunset into night race, so cooler temps, but I don't think these guys are really going to need tires much, if at all, here this evening. I know I've said before in some of these restrictor plate kind of races, I like some tires just to make, bigger moves with confidence, but frankly, in the ARCA car, I think you can go tire-free.
Certainly, looking at what's going on here, we're right on board with race leader, driver, the number 22, Joshua Parent. There's only 4 or 5 cars really lined up on that outside lane, Andrew. We got the rest of the field, the rest of the 20, lined up on the inside lane, but the organization's just a little more tight-knit up top with those 5 cars that allows that outside lane to just pull ahead here. Also, I guess having the momentum of running down the hill a little bit more is giving the nod to the 22 as well, but it's fascinating to look at this. Really, 4 cars are a little more organized than the 20 cars in the bottom, and that's really the game changer here as they come by the start finish line.
I think part of it is also the pushing from Teseo in that 15 car. He's keeping the 22 afloat up there. They should get a run here off the corner. Teseo, though, backs up out of turn 2. That's going to hurt this top lane down the straightaway. You've got to time your pushes when you are truly the pusher in that car. Right behind the leader of your line. You've got to time those pushes just right, take advantage of the straightaways, back off in the corners. Oh, no! Oh! Patinko, heavy in the wall.
And he just shot straight up the track.
That looked like hardware to me.
Maybe an equipment malfunction? Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. That's his day. I mean, he's going to drop back here and likely lose the draft. You can see it's not handling quite right. He hit it really, really hard. He does get picked up there by Dakota Bly, so Dakota's going to try to keep him in this race. But you could just tell it is not handling quite right for that number 81. Jordan White's back here, Jason Bottoms as well, as Coulter Clark and Gray Walker are the only 2 that have lost the front draft. I want to go back, though, and get a replay for the number 81 and see exactly what that looked like from his perspective. Here it is, turn 3. I don't know.
It looks like the USB or whatever the was plugged into the PC kind of just reset. Like it just stopped reading and then reset and started reading again.
I don't know. It almost looks, Emerson, like he might have lost where he was on the track because he turns right there. When it resets there, that is the damage rendering on iRacing side. When a wheel is disconnected, it will typically show the steering wheel as just being straight up and down. So if you go to the outside view of the car, you can see that damage initially render with the right front completely broken, and then it comes back. So it looks more to me like he might have been, you know, on another tab or another monitor or something, and just lost where he was in the racetrack and drove off into the wall. Even if you go back to the in-car, right as he's about to hit the wall, he steers away from it. So watch the steering wheel. Right as he gets to the wall, he cranks a bunch of wheeling right here. So I think he was in control of the car. I think he just lost where he was.
That's quite unfortunate. I know a lot of drivers, especially drivers who ride around in these long plate races, sometimes they'll throw on a podcast or Spotify, something to keep them, you know, I guess in tune or something. Maybe you're trying to change what he had going on for him and it's gonna bite him.
I just hope he wasn't navigating through the broadcast. That's all I hope. But yeah, Patinko gonna have a rough day after that one for sure. It's only lap number 8, and he has already dropped back to the 20th position. He is in line though with Bly pushing him. So Dakota keeping that 81 car afloat as Evans' teammates run currently 6th and 7th. Those are Teseo and Parent. Everybody though in a single file lane. I wonder, you know, if these guys are gonna run single file all night, you could pit now and go to the end of the stage if you wanted. Get the pit stop out of the way early.
I do wonder that is there some, you know, teammates in the middle of this pack or lined up, or friends that are, you know, in communication with one another lined up, ready to take advantage of that, working this backwards. Also, I want to, you know, a big thing that was talked about during the Daytona 500 this weekend was, you know, lap time and pacing, you know, to demonstrate or to dictate the fuel saving. I wonder, you know, are we running 100% right now? And, you know, if fuel saving later, you know, is the leader or the front few cars backing up the pace? Fuel save. I don't think that's happening quite yet, just because you can't make it at all on this opening stage. Even you would need a couple cautions to make it, I guess, to the end of stage 1.
Yeah, at least one, if not two. I think if memory serves me correct, these guys could go about 22 to 25 at Daytona, and Talladega is just a little bit longer, and typically you're a little more wide open at Dega. So I would expect it to be on the lower end of that window here this evening at Talladega Super Speedway. I would expect more like 21 to 23 laps for these guys to a run, if even that far. And look at this, they are going to pit. Early pit stops here. A lot of the field, and you can see some guys are slicing and dicing in the pack. 23 loose. That was Brendan Maddox into the pit lane, 4 wide in front of him. Oh my goodness, the land rush down the pits. Wow.
Caught it, Andrew. That early pit. And you know, the math worked out perfectly. Here they come. A good chunk of the field, for sure.
This is about half. 14th through 25th. That's 12 cars out of 25. All pitted here. And
exactly.
There's the rush out of the pit lane. And Zach Hall gonna get the medal down. He's gonna pull away. It'll be a drag race between Fritz and Wood. Wood's gonna give way. Buzzio then gives Wood a chance as here comes Cole Lewis around turn 4. Do these guys pit? No. This is now Lewis, Stockero, Teseo, and Parent. Your top 4 in a line. Maddox and the other Maverick cars have broken up here. They hit the pits now. Zach Maddox, Dustin Stallings, Carl Pooler, and the 83 of Jordan White all come in this lap.
So now we're looking at the 2 different groups of cars essentially when this cycles out. At least in the midpoint of this stage where the first group that pits now cycles out. Who can get lined up the best? Who can run faster lap times? It's essentially going to be the group that leads at the end of the stage when the fully cycles out.
I think this group here that we just watched pit, I think they are at a disadvantage. I think they were already behind, and yeah, there go the other leaders.
True.
There goes Zach Hall, Scott Fritz, and others on by them. So now we just got to wait and see when Lewis and some of those guys pit. There's Dorsey, Bly, and Bottoms. I'm unsure as to where the 81 is. Patenko actually pitted with some others. And Patinko is now here with Robert Moyer Jr. and the number 16, running 23rd and 24th. These guys fell back quite a bit. I'm surprised Patinko came in early.
Yeah, especially with Bly kind of being committed to helping out Patinko. That was intriguing that they split strategy here. This is Coulter Clark along with the 18 of Gray Walker. They lost the lead draft earlier before the pit cycle. So
I think that was mostly by design.
Sure.
So 13 laps in, these are your 4 race leaders. We have got pit strategy already here at Talladega in the Accelerate Studios 266. Of these 4 cars, only one of them is in the chase. And that is the one chase driver that has not yet pitted in this race, Josh Parent. Every other chase driver has made it into and out of the pit lane. It seems penalty-free and mostly issue-free.
Very nice to see that the early pit stop didn't, render any issues or penalties. Really more than anything, I think just, people running each other over coming to pit lane. That is very, very easy to do, especially on the first pit stop. Now, the other one I would watch out for would be the last pit stop on the day, where everyone's trying to be the most aggressive. We'll see here. That's a 62 to stop Caro. Really trying to... Well, I thought he was trying to push the 52, but trying to maybe get to the outside or get some temp. That's what he's doing. He's getting some temperature from the front end of that car.
Yeah, I think he's managing the temperature. Lewis and Stockero are teammates. So I think they're trying to still work together. But certainly Dan Stockero trying to get air to the nose of that race car. And unfortunately, even if we go on board or anything, we're not going to see the temps. It's up for the drivers to balance those temperatures, make sure they are good to go. As here come a couple of drivers to the pit lane. That'll be Josh Parent and Anthony Teseo. I'm a little confused by this move. There is certainly strength in numbers at these racetracks. I'm a little confused why these two are pitting, not alone, but alone together, I suppose.
And again, another thing just from watching the 500 this past weekend and other races, the small groups of cars pitting just didn't really make sense to me, at least. And right here, kind of in the middle, you're not really shooting on either strategy. I guess the only strategy here is you're splitting the stage in half. But I don't know, man. Where they get up to speed, and they're not even together.
And Teseo lagging back, it's going to hurt them as they get back up to speed. I think Parent might try and tag onto the back end of these leaders coming by. Here they come on the outside lane. They just passed Teseo. Here's Hall.
Oh.
I think the 22 is going to tag on the back, or at least try to. He's going to get ahead of those Maverick cars, and that may also bring Teseo. So I think they will be okay, just separate. Actually, the Maverick car is going to pass the 22 car.
22 should be okay, but the question here, Andrew, he got really aggressive with that blend line in turn 2. I don't know if the 22 was penalty-free there on that pit exit.
And Teseo, unfortunately, is going to be, as the kids say, cooked. He has lost the draft. Pit stop now for Stockero and Lewis. There they go out of the pit lane, and they will certainly be passed up.
Wow.
Stockero,
My goodness,
took a lot more time in the
tires.
pit lane. It may have been a 2-tire stop, or at least more fuel for Stockero and Lewis. They take a lot more time there, and they will certainly sink to the back of this field, as it will be Zach Hall leading the way. There you see his pit stop reference, and wow, they're all over the place. What's going on here?
Wow. Can we try to blend up?
What the heck
this
just
is
happened?
actually the two groups merging.
Yeah.
We got 3 non-playoff drivers still out there on, not pitting yet.
I'm so confused by what just happened on the back straightaway. Here's the 5 of... Okay, here's some blocking. That's what it was.
Oh, yep.
Oh, wow!
What a catch from Borbell.
So, This is exactly what the handful of drivers out there last night were upset about in the practice race. So the Maverick cars, that's the 71, the 00, the 14, they catch up. You see next level goes to block. That's the 2 and the 5. And Pooler ends up getting a shot there into the 2 of Borbell. Great save. I don't know. I have some opinions.
It's too early for that. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Too early.
I mean, this is a look back a little bit further so you can see the closing rate of those Toyotas from Maverick Motorsports. I mean, it's the 4
moving,
Toyotas
man.
in a line. They have a huge run. And I don't think this needs to be happening right now. I don't think that block needs to happen. I mean, it's a perfectly valid block. Well, no, until the 2 goes down to the middle lane. That, I think, was just way too aggressive. And then Pooler's left reeling. He tries to get in the bottom lane. Wolsifer's there. Yeah,
It's a rule in open wheel, and I think they probably could have been played here where, you know, one block is one thing, but the multiple reactionary blocks, that's
yeah, you
that's a
blocked
different
there.
thing.
The 2 is blocked there, and then he goes lower. And now he's still in the way, and,
Yeah.
you know, Pooler can only check up so much as he's got his teammate behind him pushing him. Yeah, we'll get one more look. I just want to see the handwork of the 2 car here of Borbell.
Yeah. Catch.
'Cause it was a fantastic catch. Self-inflicted or not, it was a fantastic save. There you see, he goes up. One shot there, here comes another one. Oh. I think that might constitute, it's a save versus a miss, but that easily could have been disaster for the 2 of Borbell, so we'll constitute it as, so far, our very first murderous mega miss of the evening. And here we go. We are packed up. More lane changing at play. Parrot's going to go high of the Maverick cars. And Buzzio's going to lead that. Or no, Buzzio's going to lead the train, but not the lap. It's still Bottoms, Bly, and Dorsey leading the race. But this is where the action is right now. Oh, there they go.
Battle for 4.
Not clear. Wow. And that is no caution. Wolsifer is going to be down to the inside wall, and they keep racing.
Wow.
6-5 are the losers here.
Wow.
6-5 are the losers. Both of their cars just got taken out of the draft, or both of their chase cars, anyways, as Buzzio, and they all get back in line here. But Johnny Wood Jr., there he is in 16th. He has lost the draft. Wolsifer, I think, hit the wall. He's junk. He's destroyed.
Oh. That was hurt.
Again, I mean, do we need to be playing these games in the first stage?
I really don't understand this aggression. The only, I think, even questionably acceptable aggression would be coming to the line at this stage. This is still way too early.
Yeah, you got to get there. I mean, if you're in a pack like this, and really it was started by the, it wasn't even games. It was really just a self-clear. Oh, hate that for Richard.
What I think happened was the 23 was glued to the 71. The 71 was clear. He went down, and the 23 followed, but wasn't clear.
Yeah, watch here. Brendan Maddox pushing the daylights out of the 71 of Pooler. Pooler moves down, and it dragged his bumper. I don't think that was even an intentional lane change for Brendan.
Right.
Wow.
I guess I was trying to get to that. Yeah, they were glued. I don't know if he was trying to.
No, Brendan's hands never turned left. I've never seen that. Wow.
He was glued to the 71.
So really, that falls on the 71 turning down before his teammate was clear, and now Zach Maddox, going to pull up to the third lane. Everything is disjointed now.
How do you know a car is glued to your rear end?
Yeah, I mean, but he turned down before his teammate was clear. So Maddox is never going to make that. And I think if you're trying to make that tandem work, you got to wait until a 23 gets clear there. But that's just communication. And all in all, I'm glad it worked out for them, but unfortunate scenes certainly for the 75 and 56. And Johnny Wood Jr., you know, tied with Borbell for the standings lead. Borbell's in the top 5, top 10. He's going to be able to get some stage points, it looks like. Johnny Wood's out of it, unless we get a caution.
Yeah, this could be huge for Johnny Wood, really. You know, to keep himself or to see where he's going to be heading into the next week. Still a lot of racing to go, of course, and more points definitely up for grabs later in the race. But the point differential early just started.
On board with Stephen Borbell here in the top 10. It does seem like things have calmed down a bit. That's good. You've got to get through the race to win the race. Of course, there's the old adage that Greg Biffle mentioned in the race for the seat for the Ram truck team with Colleague Racing. Biffle mentioning the age-old adage that to finish first, you must first finish. And that goes true even for the stages. You've got to get to lap 30 and finish lap 30 to have a chance of being ahead at lap 30 in this case. So these guys, I get it to a point. You want to set yourself up, but can't set yourself up on lap 20. As now the bottom lane gets checked up. Fritz and Hall starting to go backwards. That's going to give the advantage now to the Maverick cars up top of Pooler and Stallings. And if you look at it as numbers, as clearly this is a game of numbers, team numbers in this case, there's technically 5 Maverick cars in this group. The 4 true Maverick cars plus the 83 of White from Spirit Racing. There's a lone wolf or 2, as you've got Zach Hall. Actually, I think 3 lone wolves. Zach Hall on his own, Parrott on his own, Plord on his own. Then you've got next level in the form of Liam Maple, Stephen Borbell, and Adam Buzzio. So through these, 12 cars, you've got a pretty good mix of allegiances. Even Fritz on his own.
Hanging tight up there. The inside lane really stacked up there. I wonder if they're gearing up for a run or this outside lane is just really cooking them up here. They're really organized up top. And I keep seeing the 22 apparent. He just keeps poking his nose out for fun up there in that third lane. No help. Just trying to see what run he can generate.
Here comes the 2 car. He's got to run down low. Here's the onboard from the nose camera of the number 2. I know it's still early, and Wood can absolutely outscore the stage points that Borbell gets here with the race points later. But if Borbell can get these 10 points to start the night off, that would be huge for the 2 car.
Certainly would feel like it. It definitely would be a huge momentum setter in the direction of the 2 car. 100%. Wow. What a drop from the 5.
3 wide. Parent's starting to go forward. He's now racing for 3rd, but he's got no help. Now he does. Jordan White going to pull up.
He does.
Parent and White will be teammates at Spirit Racing next season. Something to keep an eye on. I don't think Jordan has led any laps yet this evening, but he told me pre-race that he made a bet with his Discord server. Any laps he leads, that's 10 minutes that he adds onto a hosted session that he's going to run for all of his friends to go join in. And it sounds like if he ever gets to the lead, they might be having some fun later tonight, but he's got a few cars to go through, as now Maverick going to take over some of the bottom lane by virtue of the 23 of Brendan Maddox. They're starting to go 4 wide.
4 wide.
4 wide with 12 cars.
This time by in the stage. Wow. I don't know if we need that aggression right now, guys, but hey, go for it, I guess. This is
all got a lap car.
Go in the stage. Yeah. Oh.
That's Wolsifer. I think he's
hurt.
Yeah, I think he's gonna play, throw it in their side just for fun. Okay, you guys kind of took me out of this. Now he gets down on the apron. Lets them all go.
Yeah.
And so, who wins stage 1 here at Talladega? Also, for the MX Wraps Best in Show vote, that's wrapping up here in a couple laps at the end of stage 1. Get your votes in now. I'll let it go through a little bit of the caution so we can recap the 4 cars that are up for it, but one of them is leading, another one is second. So the White Lightning 48 of Scott Fritz as we take the stage white flag, number 32 for Zach Hall. Here we go, Jordan White going high. He's going to have help from Parent.
Wide for third. Lord is that third car on the outside lane. The 21 in the sucker hole now.
Maddox moves up.
Jumps up.
Stalling stays low. They're 3 wide for third. Can this top lane get going? Can the bottom lane? There goes Maddox down low. He's going to pull the 32 back. Fritz trying to block the top. Jordan's got to run.
He can't get there. 3 wide.
Can Jordan White get back around here to win the stage? Can Brendan Maddox do it? I think Maddox is out too far. Parents closer to the 83. It's going to be a drag race maybe. White goes high. They're going to crash. There goes Fritz. There goes Maple and Buzzio to the line. Who's going to win the stage? Josh Parent's going to win it.
Wow, what a stage.
Wow. Josh Parent grabbing the stage win, clinging to life here in the chase, keeping himself alive. We talk about maximizing stage points. We talk about needing to make something happen tonight. That is everything Josh needed and more.
I mean, he came out clutch there at the end. The seas parted, everything opened up, and he shot through the middle and just stole it right there at the end in typical Talladega fashion.
So the 2 cars that go first and second here in the stage are 2 of the farthest back in the chase. Josh Parent 43 back, Jordan White 46 back. It does look like Hall's gonna win big in this stage. He's gonna go third. Hall's gonna get a bunch of points. Maddox too. Hall's gonna have the advantage though in that little battle, and that might put Hall about 2 points behind Stephen Borbell. Johnny Wood won't get anything. Buzzio gets a couple, and Pooler gets a couple. I think Borbell is technically still the points leader, but not by much. Zach Hall is now right behind him. And, boy, we know how that could go with how fast Hall has been lately. He, of course, does lead those power rankings. But to recap the cars on the Best in Show vote today, those would be, of course, the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. There you see is kind of candy apple red. Trackside NASCAR Outlet Toyota Camry. Also the 17 of Jason Bottoms, the Goat Fuel Chevrolet SS. And then the 32 of Zach Hall, who finishes third here in stage 1. And Scott Fritz, who went from leading on the last lap Emerson to finishing 11th and getting no stage points.
Wow. He did get involved in that incident, but that car, for the most part, looks like a little left side damage. Should be okay.
So we'll give you just another moment or two to make your vote for the MX Raps Best in Show vote. Currently, the 16 leads it, but anything can happen here in these last couple of moments. We'll be talking to Josh Parent in just a moment after the stage win here tonight. And Wolsifer will, of course, stay out as he's got all that damage. And he is, of course, the 1 car, 1 lap down, so he will get the lucky dog here under this first caution.
For Wolsifer, he's just this one he's gonna have to ride out the attrition of this race. I don't even know, even if he gets all his repairs, if he's gonna be competitive.
And off the pit lane, Jordan White will win the race off over Josh Parent, Zach Hall, Stephen Borbell, Jimmy McClure. Johnny Wood Jr. takes a gamble. Johnny Wood, he actually was able to get, it looks like, 2 tires and a full tank of fuel on that car and still get out in what will be the 6th position. So props to driver 75 as a few more cars work off the pit lane. There is your stage winner, though. Let's go ahead and dial up Josh Parent, who had a really rough night last week at Watkins Glen, able to bounce back here, and it might still be a little bit too little, a little bit too late, Josh, but you are keeping yourself alive. Boy, what a stage win. poking your nose up top, just kind of playing with the air 3 wide a whole bunch, and somehow, some way, that blue 22 came through for the stage win. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just been little small crashes and little mistakes here and there that have kind of kept me out of getting the points. And yeah, I have no friends up here that want to work with me. Every time I tried to go, everyone was locked to their teammate's bumper, and I had someone that decided to go with me a little bit on the high side. And once Short Aim pulled up in front of me, I was not lifting. And we got up to the front and was able to pull a little crossover to get it right at the line. That was really sketchy, though, because I think we all tried to go middle there.
Yeah, everybody, it seemed like, was trying to change lanes all at the same time. And obviously, this is big for not just this race, but puts you, again, kind of keeps you just on the edge of being in contention for this championship. I know it's still a long road, right? Being so many points out coming into tonight, yes, this helps. But some of those leaders also just gained, as it looks like White's going to pit ahead of you. That puts you back out front. What's the game plan now, knowing you've got the 10 points added on, keeping you just alive, keeping some life in the breath? What's the game plan?
Stay fuel, make it to the end of the race, try to win.
Fair enough. I know you said you didn't feel like you had any friends there at the end. It seemed like your future teammate Jordan pulled up behind you. Is there anybody else that you feel like might work with you? I mean, Anthony's not too far back now.
Oh, no. Me and Anthony just got separated off of pits, but we were working really good together there. I'm not sure. Hopefully maybe a Ford will work with me. I was trying to help them out, but they just wanted to run where they were, and yeah, that's just how it ended up. So we'll see. If someone wants to work with me, then we'll go.
And what do you make of the couple of scatters out of turn 2 down the backstretch those couple of times?
Yeah, it seems like people, the checkups on the bottom were huge, and yeah, just, I don't know, man, just a lot of being stagnant and not going anywhere, so causes big checkups, big wrecks. So
I know last week was no good, but this week looking a little bit better for the 22 car. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Josh Parent with a stage win to open things up here at Talladega Superspeedway. And this will give us an opportunity now to end the Best in Show vote. And that will, of course, go to the same paint scheme that was already leading. So Robert Moyer Jr., last week's driver of the day, today's Best in Show winner. How about that?
It's a good looking car. Absolutely. See if we can get it up front.
I do like it. I really do enjoy the metallic red. Good job was done there. It seems like maybe they want to work on the trim there along the bottom of the car. It seems like it's a multicolor, but that's just par for the course for an ARCA car anyways. But regardless, I like the 16. It looks good. Josh Parent going to lead us back around to the restart zone. We are going to give it a shot this time by. One car is still trying to catch up. That is Richard Wolsifer, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to. He's still got a ton of damage. He's back here in turn 4 as the leaders approach the tri-oval and actually are in the tri-oval here. Josh Parent going to lead us back to the green at Talladega. Stage 2 begins now. 66 laps to go under green. Let's see how long we can go. Down the Alabama Gang super stretch once more. Mostly a bottom lane field, but there's a few stragglers up top at the front and back. Question is...
that's because so many people came to top off there at the end.
Yeah.
They were on that one to go.
That's exactly what causes it. Question is, will they take this and run with it and stay single file and just kind of log laps, or do they want to race for it?
That call drops down. Jamie Plord now leaves the outside lane. That 38 machine trying to play spoiler. He's got Teseo behind.
Watch that 16.
Oh, wow, look at this run. Oh, man.
Robert Moyer and Sam Dyer making moves on the top side of the racetrack. Big run around the outside. They will clear into the top 5.
Bush, eat your heart out.
That wasn't even on the restart. That was a lap after. And Teseo was going to go with them.
Yeah. mean, those two cars are moving. I wonder if that's just how slow the bottom line is going.
I mean, even Josh said they're going to save fuel. And I wonder, if these guys, they're on the edge, actually, of 2 versus 3 stops. If it's about 25 laps, 24 laps, and we're going about...
Oh, yeah, that's really close.
Yeah.
But look, the 2 non-playoff drivers in the 16 and 35, they're pulling away from this field of cars that's saving fuel right now.
Boyer and Dyer are just driving away. This is incredible. They're going to swap now, put Dyer out front.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Moyer, though, he leaves a little too much room. They're going to go 3. Here comes Teseo with help from Maple. And the once calm group has gotten a lot more hectic. Anthony Teseo racing here into the tri-oval. He's going to lead this lap, it looks like. And yes, car 15 leads lap 37.
Maple was struggling to get down in line there. And if you're a non-playoff driver, Andrew, what's the point of riding around? Why don't you go up there, pick up the pace, see what can happen? Why not, right? I think the playoff drivers, they have the thing about points and maximizing their finish.
Yeah, I agree, at least to a point. If I'm not in the chase, I think I just want to go as fast as possible. Forget the other stuff. Anything can happen. And, if I'm not in the chase, frankly, I'm going to give myself the best shot that if it goes my way, I win. You can sit there and try to strategize this whole thing, but frankly, if there's nothing riding on this race, if points are not a concern for you, just go put yourself out front of the field. If you get a caution, awesome. If not, it's what it is.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I would do.
And look at Patinko. He's back up here. Albeit still with that right side damage. He is back in the top 10. That car leading the outside lane. I'm surprised. He's got all that right side damage for when he hit the wall. And he's going to slide in line. That was smart.
Struggling.
That was really smart to get in line there. That brings Zach Maddox up as well. Now Jordan White hung on the outside with Coulter Clark and Gray Walker, who have joined the fight. Clark, of course.
Add minutes to a session.
Clark, of course, a chase driver this season, won at Las Vegas recently. Or no, it was Michigan, not Las Vegas, as Patinko nearly got that lap. He and Clark get out ahead now. But Clark has that win from Michigan. He also is a winner here at Talladega back in Season 4. So he has the most recent win at this racetrack in BRB. Granted, that was in a very different car. As look at that chaos off the corner. These guys are still trying to find their place in line.
Boyer's back.
Yeah, he got back up here in a hurry.
Teseo. I was going to mention, you mentioned it's probably by design. You're probably right. That Coulter Clark and Gray Walker lost the draft intentionally in stage 1. Well, they're up here right now in stage 2. And I think this is just virtue of most of the pack fuel saving that, I mean, anyone can really just link up with one other car and ride their way up to the lead right now.
Like conveyor belt, I suppose.
Teseo! Patinko lets him in.
Those are a couple teammates there, the 15 and 81. Playing nicely with one another. This has been a very odd race already. We're not even halfway. Well, while these guys ride single file, I suppose we can take a look at the season schedule here for season number 5. And here that is. Of course, Michigan kicked off the chase back on February the 3rd. Watkins Glen last week. Now we're at Talladega with Phoenix and Miami still remaining on the season schedule. Anything can happen these last 3 weeks. This whole chase filled with races that could go anyway. They could be sleepers. They could be, more boring races, less exciting. They could absolutely be more exciting. They could be crazy, chaotic like we had even at Michigan, I would say. Michigan was a mix, and so far tonight has been a little bit, don't even know the word. It hasn't quite been chaotic. I wouldn't use that word just yet, but it has certainly been strange. With a few odd things happening here and there, and frankly, next week at Phoenix, I don't know what to expect. Last time this league was at Phoenix, we had a previous commitment, but I heard it was a rough one for sure. So I don't know what to expect. And these guys, man, the fuel saving, you can see the gaps that are building now.
Yeah.
Paseo's backing up.
We were watching earlier on boards, right? The RPMs were in the high 6,000. I'd want to know what the RPMs are running now. They can't be that high. It's mid 6,000s now. I guess, well, up front, maybe they're trying to close the gaps up here. But yeah, I mean, they're getting a 6,500 here in the corners, and I mean, they're running over 7K at the end of the straights in stage 1.
Clark here just over 7,000 RPMs off of turn number 2, leading the race now with Gray Walker just behind. So, that's the RPM there for Clark. If you go back, though, to, say, Carl Pooler, who runs in 12th, there you see up over 7,000. Adam Buzzio, right around 7,000. So it's like they'll save for a moment and then get back in the gas and then back out. It's ebb and flow.
Sure. I'd say the leaders are probably dictating that pace as well, versus if you got someone on front who's committed to fuel saving right now, it might everyone drop down to 6,500.
And Patinko allowing a gap to build ahead of him. He's letting the top 4 get away. Those are Clark, Walker, Moyer, and Tiseo. Clark, the only chaser of that bunch. He goes high now with Gray Walker. It's a strategy. For sure, I get it. It is a valid strategy. Is Plor just going to go? Plor's going, and there's some others going.
Yeah.
Pooler pulled out. Wood pulled out. Plor just took the race lead easily. He just got tired of it and drove around. I don't know that I like this, honestly.
He's gaining. I get it if you're a playoff driver and you gotta you gotta put yourself in position to not get beat on fuel strategy. I get that, but man, it's certainly it's a different kind of mentally taxing, because now you got to be you have to be managing your throttle input and your RPM, and along with not running over the car in front of you if they're checking up, and if they're like my teams, when I was sim racing these plate tracks in the fuel mileage race, there's a lot of math. I mean, I love math, but like we're talking a lot of numbers the entire time. We're in this line right now.
Johnny Wood goes to the wall. He's going to bring Zach Hall, Stephen Borbell, and Scott Fritz along with. And they will take over the race lead on the top of the racetrack. And yeah, Wood needs this. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, a little bit blunt, a little bit frank, but I did not fall in love with Talladega and Daytona for this kind of racing.
No.
I don't think that means it's invalid. There's certainly a skill required to do this, to save all this gas and maintain gaps ahead and whatnot, and it's technically a valid form of racing on these racetracks, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
That's true. And this can also just happen naturally in any race, regardless of stages and race length. If you just get an ill-timed caution, the last run of the race could be like this. This now, it's a little manufactured because of the timing of the stage caution race length kind of forces this hand, but this can easily happen in natural racing as well, or natural circumstances as well. This is still racing.
And if we get a caution at any point in time, throw it all out the window.
Yeah. Except if it falls on a lap where you're back on the edge, and everyone can come down and pit, and then top off, and you gotta run it all again. Because we're now a couple laps away from, I'd imagine we're a couple laps away from pit stops.
We're about 10 away, I think.
Okay, 10, yeah. You know, if the caution comes out in like 5 laps, yeah, then then we're back to the same thing.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how far these guys can go here shortly, but I mean, they've run 16 now on this tank, so I would say 7 to 8 away from a pit cycle. Maybe more, maybe less. I mean, I don't know.
Go 23 on a tank, right? Then the 46 to go. So that's if you make it to lap 54. Essentially, is your goal if you go 23 on a tank. If you go 24 on a tank, you can make it to 52.
And if you're just joining us and wondering what's going on here, why are they single file spacing out, having crazy runs, and not really pushing too much? This is fuel strategy at its finest. This is the NASCAR Cup Series fuel strategy of put as little fuel in the car as possible in each pit stop to try to be ahead. Coming into the ARCA cars on iRacing, and this is the effect of it. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything. That does not mean I have to like it. I mean, again, I can recognize there is an art to it. There is certainly an art to it. You got to do everything right, just the same as.
It's not easy.
You know, it might not be chess anymore, but it's certainly still checkers. Is that fair? It's
checkers, and it's towards the end of the game, and everyone, you know, has kings that can move all around the board, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would call plate racing chess at 200 miles per hour. Yeah. This is a little bit more like checkers. Same board, same concept.
Oh, we'll sprint a wall.
But different rules. You know, these guys are trying to do different things right now than they would be, 5 years ago in this kind of race. They would be packed up 3 wide, probably racing their hearts out, or even if they got single file on the outside, there would be an objective to it. They'd be trying to go as fast as possible and not let anybody gain track position. It was all about track position in years past. Now, you still want track position, but you're trying to get that track position by spending less time in the pit lane and getting away from others who spend more time. So, you're, at the end of the day, still trying to achieve the same goal, just going about it in a very different manner.
Right, and back to your point, right? Back in the day, over the last decade of plate racing, we had that era where trains would form on the high side, where you said you're running as fast as you can, trying to get track position. At the same time, they're clicking off laps in a single file line. That's really kind of no different than what's going on now. There's just the added element of fuel strategy. That was a big gap between 2 lines out of it. The 21 of Will Maple lost a little bit of ground there, and oh, here we go.
Yeah, some chaos back there
for the rest of them.
Maple's going to fall back and some cars go around him. I want to give a big shout out, though, to our partners with this series. Of course, we mentioned them a little bit earlier, but Sundance Pizza always doing so much for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Has been a long time supporter, but kind of played second fiddle for 4 seasons, and now this is the Sundance Pro Series. Everything Sundance Pizza. Of course, based in Arizona, it's certainly a bit of a niche kind of pizza joint, but man, if you're ever in the, I want to say Sedona area, it is certainly one to go check out. And if I'm ever able to get back out to my homeland of Arizona, the Copper State, then I certainly will be visiting Sundance and getting myself at least a pie, if not 2 or 3, to sample around what they've got. I'd imagine they could probably honor that, but Sundance Trucks, also a big partner here at the BRB Sundance Pro Series, and Ideal East, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com, all doing so much for us week in, week out here on Tuesday nights. And this isn't even just a play to the sponsor, Emerson, but I could go for a pizza pie right now.
I could too. I feel like, for me, recently, I've actually kind of been sniping last week. Good pizza for dinner. I'm not opposed to it tonight.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm a chain pizza guy, and I know the Sundance folks might scoff at that, and rightly so, honestly. My Italian heritage probably does too, but frankly, I'm a Papa John's guy. I'm a chain pizza guy. Papa John's, Pizza Hut, they lead the pack. Not really a Domino's person, but I respect the crust and their cheesy bread for sure.
Ooh, 48 Reed had a moment there.
Yeah, he got a little out of lane. But let me tell you, when you find a good pizza joint like Sundance, when you find a good place that does pizza just the way you like it, good ingredients, good service, that's where it's at. I'm a sucker for the taste of chain pizza, and even the options. But frankly, you find a good hometown pizza joint like Sundance Pizza, and that is where the pie gets a little bit more special. So, again, certainly gonna have to make an effort one day to get out there to that place and visit the one and only Gavin Rogers himself as he's slinging some dough and whipping up some pies. But Emerson, we're just a couple of laps, single digits away from pit stops.
Yeah.
Who do you think pits first? Of course, we saw a handful of cars stay out the last lap of the caution. That would include guys like Josh Parent, for example, and a handful of cars come in right at the end of that caution and top off. But who do you think actually hits the pit lane first?
Well, I don't know about first, but I'm very intrigued to see the 7 playoff drivers that have now lined up first through 7th, see where they hit. Because there's only 4 other playoff drivers in this pack. Unfortunately, Wilson is he's riding it out, hoping for the best later on in this race. But we got 7 of the 11 playoff drivers in this pack, first through 7th. Plus, I'd imagine Maddox would probably follow in. Zach would probably follow in Brendan Maddox, and so that'd make 8 right there if they all pit together. I don't know about first. I'd say first will probably be drivers who've spent a lot of time up front. Johnny Wood Jr. could be one to make that call. He's been up here for a little bit now. So another lap goes by. That'll be 56. So that leaves us at 45 to go. We are in the range about now.
And I just heard one car actually coming off the pit lane. That seems to have been Richard Wolsifer. So not able to save fuel. You see how far he was able to go, and he's gone a lap down in this run. So he had to pit earlier, and he now gets back on the racetrack. He is now 2 laps down. Might get 1 back when the leaders pit, but it's definitely a bad day to be Richard Wolsifer.
It's so unfortunate. He was innocent bystander in that incident off of turn 2, and then he didn't even get a yellow because it was so far off the racing surface.
So we're coming in. Here's Evan Patinko to the pit lane. He's going to be joined by Robert Moyer Jr., Anthony DeSeo, and Adam Buzzio, as well as William Maple Jr. So 5 cars come in here. They're the first to hit the pit lane at lap 56.
2 playoff drivers.
2 playoff drivers, each with 1 teammate, plus a wild Robert Moyer in that group.
Robert.
And then you've got everybody else still on the racetrack. You see there is some separation back to Cole Lewis, Dakota Bly, and Cody Dorsey.
Back 6. If they come in, they probably have to come in together if they want a chance to catch this lead group, those back 6.
Let's see, do any more come in this time? That was 24 laps for that previous group. This will be 25, and yes, a bunch of the Chevrolet is going to pit.
Playoff drivers.
Borbell.
Not the 71, though.
Borbell, Wood, Hall, and Fritz all come in here, along with Parents. It looks like Plord and Dyer.
Good chunk of them.
Oh, watch out. Get into your box here. And let's see, what's the call going to be actually for these guys? Do we see any tires go on? Right sides. I'm surprised by that.
2 tires?
Right sides for some of them, but not all of them. They all get out at the same time.
Tires.
And now let's see what these leaders can do.
That helps. Two groups up here still. The entire lead group comes in.
That's chaos right there. Oh my gosh. Everybody rushing down the pit lane. Look at this.
A lot of ground up on pit entry to 17 did.
Would be Jason Bottoms in that second group back there. Carl Puller into his box. Jordan White might have slid the tires a little bit, and Cole Lewis has the longest run down to his box. He's going to get into it now. Let's see, does he go for tires at all?
Wow.
He will get right sides.
So lonely. This side of pit road.
And off the corner, there's the race off, or off the pit lane, rather. It'll be won by Carl Puller in the number 71. He gets back out there first. You see Jordan White down low on the apron. Here comes that group at speed. Johnny Wood Jr. on the outside. Of all these cars that just pitted, where can he get up to?
I think they clear them all.
I don't know. Those 3 Toyotas ahead, they will stay low. I thought they might have tried to play a blocking game, but they will stay low, so Johnny Wood will clear them. Scott Fritz as well. Can Hall get clear to get those 3 Chevys down?
Not all.
Yeah, maybe.
Garrett might be getting left out here.
You know, Emerson,
Oh, got him in.
that might have been the most uneventful green flag pit cycle of the season. And it's when possibly the most is on the line.
But to their credit, these drivers in a pressure-filled scenario where, you got to make it right. Your playoff live literally could, be still, you can still be alive in the playoffs or out of it based on how you finish today. That's a lot of pressure, and for this group to not really make any mistakes, and now 2 green flag pit stops, I'm giving it to them. That's hard to do for entire fields of racers.
Yeah, for a long time we have preached to these guys, you got to practice those green flag stops. You've got to, go through those motions and make sure you get it down early so that you can nail it when the time comes. And, for a while, there would always be a couple of stragglers that didn't, or even still made some mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are okay. That's what makes you human. But ever since it seems like they finally learned, and they've finally got this thing down pat. I mean, that was a perfect pit cycle, I think, for the entire field. I don't think anybody got a penalty. Everybody's still on the lead lap that was already on the lead lap. I mean, that was about as clean of a Talladega pit cycle, especially ARCA cars, that you're ever going to see.
Now, I'm intrigued. Did we have Dyer, or no, Maple was having trouble earlier. Did we have Dyer and Maple in the lead pack?
No. So here's... Oh, well, yes. Before the pits, all 24 cars on the lead lap were together. I'm pretty confident in that. And Johnny Wood Jr. here will put a second lap on his teammate Richard Wolsifer.
Now we made it to this point. Do we still have to fuel save to make it to the final pit stop? Is the question. Look at the pace is up a little bit now.
Does seem like these guys are running a little bit faster. Like maybe they got tired of the half throttle games, but I want to zero in on the YouTube chat for a minute, Emerson. They're calling for us to turn on the cameras at Phoenix and Miami. I told them that'd probably break some screens. We've got faces for radio, I feel like, but I don't know. The people want it. Even Kayla Rondon chiming in the YouTube chat.
I wouldn't mind it, in a couple weeks. I won't be here.
Oh, wow.
Next 2 Tuesdays, I will not be here. I do apologize.
Oh.
Which are the last 2 Tuesdays. That does suck.
Well, maybe we'll have to get Zach Murtis through a double as he's racing Road to Pro to chime in here on the broadcast, too. But regardless, inside of 40 laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. While these guys kind of get into another lull here, just running laps, logging laps, trying to get to the end of this one, let's take a look at what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Obviously, always have a lot going on, but here's a look at the next few broadcasts. This will take you through the end of this racing week here, and next up for us, it's a doubleheader, actually. The final of our doubleheaders here of the winter season for the North American Racing League and Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. I know Kayla's going to be happy to hear that it's the final double for sure. Just in time, I believe, for Grey's Anatomy to get back to airing new episodes on Thursday evenings. So I know she's going to be jumping with joy for that. But yeah, the North American Racing League with their AM drivers. That will include some of this field. Guys like, let's see, Brendan Maddox, I'm trying to think, Robert Moyer, Richard Wolsifer, There's some more. I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, I can't think of everybody who's in that group. Regardless, some of the Maverick and Spirit guys, and then Wolcifer and Moyer will be running in that race at Indianapolis on Thursday. That will be the first of 2 broadcasts for the evening. I also hear that our Pro Series commentator, by the way, Zach Lindgren, has entered the AM Series. So we'll see how that goes for him. But then later Thursday, we've got Southern National Motorsports Park over in Lucama, North Carolina, the Eastern North Carolina Mixing Bowl, as I've put it recently, for the Pierce Fleet Service Super Series for the Sim Auto Racing Association. That's super late models on track on a 4/10 of a mile high banked oval. That'll be this Thursday evening, and that'll be their championship race. And Emerson, I don't know if you can tell there in the picture, it's kind of dark on the front end of that race car, but Matt Rolfe got me set up with a new paint scheme for those Sarah events, and that has got the brand new 5-star bodies Dodge Charger nose on it. Boy, does it look good. And then Sunday morning, yes, Sunday morning, bright and early, we have got the Dover Motor Speedway for the All-American Racing Network Gen 7 cars at Dover. That's going to be a wild one.
I was about to say, is that an A? That is an A. You can, of course, keep up with Pit Stop TV on all of our social media outlets. Of course, our Facebook page at facebook.com/Pit Stop TV. Instagram, pit_stop_TV. The YouTube channel you're watching on right now, Pit Stop TV 1, is that channel extension. Of course, keep up with all things Pit Stop TV at the website www.pitstoptv.com.
Well, the YouTube chat is getting going. Glad to have you all watching here this evening. The pack might be getting back together. Here they go. From about 5th on back, Emerson, some 2-wide racing. Just in time.
And is this the second group that was back there that closed the gap? I think.
Yep. Cole Lewis, Jason Bottoms, Dakota Bly. Absolutely. Where is the Jason Bottoms fan club? He is battling here on the outside. Look at that little message from Cole Lewis.
I wonder if the message has been delivered.
Jason Bottoms looking for the lead. He's got Dakota Bly behind him. Lewis got out to an advantage over Scott Fritz. That's going to pull him back. And Jason Bottoms will take the lead here on lap 67. Can he hold it?
Bly dropping down. Bottoms drops down as well. They'll get down there. The 3 wide to sail contact.
Oh my gosh.
Hard contact to the outside wall goes the 52. And that's a big one.
As I said in the open, the big one is around every corner. Cole Lewis, Anthony DeSeo out of this for sure. Sam Dyer, he was behind it. Coulter Clark, oh man, a chaser.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to be done.
Huge. Oh, no right front.
Ford, I think, got some damage. Looks like Buzzio might be okay. I know he had some damage to begin with. He's just the next one on the list here. Really, it seems like it was centralized really to the 15, the 52, and the 54.
Yeah, probably smaller than I thought. Never mind. Oh man, that's not a small hit for 54.
Well, let's go back and see what happened to all of these guys there in turns 3 and 4 just moments ago. There's Coulter Clark. This starts up at the 15 and 52. They're side by side into the corner. Stockero in the middle. Wonder if maybe that was part of this. DeSeo just gets hooked there by Dorsey.
Run.
Oh man. Wow.
Oh wow, that's a hit.
And Dorsey came down.
Oh no!
That's how Clark got a piece of it. Walker too.
18.
That was a couple of mega hits. If you saw the Daytona 500 on Sunday, it was a pretty big hit for Chase Elliott coming to the line. This is going to rival that. I wish we had a way to measure G's in iRacing. That's huge. And you see most of the field, until the 9 came back down, the field just hit the apron and went by it.
Unfortunately, that just There's nowhere to go for Clark or Walker, man. Down bottom.
And Dorsey just got up. I mean, he just ran into the 15. Obviously not intentional, just a small mistake. I said earlier, mistakes make us human. But that was certainly a big one for the 9 of Cody Dorsey that wipes out Teseo and Lewis. It's part of the game, though. I mean, if you're mad about this, frankly, Emerson, this might be a strong opinion, but if you're mad about this, I don't know that you belong in a Talladega Superspeedway session. You know this can happen. And wow.
Certainly. I can see frustration coming out of it for sure.
Sure, you never want to be crashing out of the race.
Maybe, yeah. I guess maybe mad at like that one racer specifically. Yeah, and then like harping on him that certainly is too much. I don't know. I don't know if he was like just feeling a lot of like the turbulent air from the car in front, or if the car just was a little free there entering center entry to the corner for the 9 car. But he was moving a lot there in the center lane.
And this is Coulter Clark's look. I mean, he was just minding his own business, tried to avoid it, couldn't.
Yeah. I would be frustrated for sure if I was the 54.
Here's
but
the
what goes up must come down.
Right. Here's the miss though for Adam Buzzio. Potentially another Murtis mega miss here for car number 5. Oh wow! Hello.
You got hit from behind.
Might need to take one more look at this, and hey, you know what? I'm gonna still count it as a miss. For what it could have been if he was just a couple of further feet, a couple of feet further forward. In the case of Coulter Clark, I mean, that could have been so much worse. But let's see that properly here for Buzzio. He's got Wolfsford right behind. He was able to get back with the pack here, and that's why he was sideways. Yeah, considering that save to just dink the nose of the 9, I'm going to count that. And pit stops. The leaders have just come in.
Is that Borbell?
Actually, just come in for a second time. Borbell stayed out. Yeah, he stayed on the racetrack.
This is the 1 to green.
Yeah, these guys are going to line up and have a single file restart. I saw Josh Conover in the YouTube chat. This is going to look like the Nora Retro Series on Mondays. They just top off and get back out there.
31 laps is a tall task, though.
But if you get one caution here, making sure you're topped up is going to be so important.
That's true.
Well, everything has changed. And wait a minute, where is the 75 going?
That's a little excitement from 75.
I'll tell you what, I don't typically pull an interview here on the last lap of the caution, but we'll make an exception for Jason Bottoms. And we'll bring in driver 17 here briefly. I know we're about to go back green flag racing with Jason. In the thrill of it all, you were able to get a couple of laps led. How fun was that for a moment?
Oh man, that was awesome. I think we got the race and the car to do it today. I mean, I feel confident about getting back up there and taking the GOAT Fuel energy to victory lane here.
We put you out for Best in Show. Unfortunately, you didn't win it, but there's still driver of the day. You started back in 25th, dead last. And we talked with Dakota earlier about position differential. Do you think you can try and give him a run for his money? Typically his average is 17 spots gained in these kinds of races. Do you think you can top that tonight?
We'll try. A little teammate rivalry there, but we'll try.
And the fan club is here. What do you have to say to your fan club?
I'll just keep tuning in, and one day we'll get it.
Maybe today's that day. We'll see. Jason Bottoms getting ready to go back green flag racing. Best of luck, buddy.
Thank you.
And into the restart zone. Boy, this is a crazy scene. 1 car up top, 3 now up top. It's the 6-5 cars. Johnny Wood, Jamie Plord, Richard Wilson, everybody else down low. Here we go. 30 laps to go at Talladega. Oh, they've put a pole in front of my camera. Oh, unbelievable. Well, here we go. Alabama Gang Super Stretch once again, Emerson. This is the beginning of... This is what I would say now is chess at, 180 miles per hour, 190 miles per hour now. This is a more typical game to play on these racetracks. You've still got to save a little bit of fuel, but I don't think you can just outright save it under green.
Yeah, this is where you're looking for yellows. And I think that's actually what the 75 did, why he pulled out in front of the pace car. Coming off the pit lane. I had to think about it. Cut it off, let it coast. But Borbell, out in front, the only driver who didn't top off, does that come back to bite him? Oh no, get that much from topping off there, that one lap under yellow. Flord was in that incident, and Flord is back up there.
Yeah, props to the 38 crew. They got that Chevrolet piece back together. And even the 56 of Woltzer, I thought he was going to be done. Chop shop, see you later. He's back out here. 2 laps down now, sure, but that car looks a whole lot better than it did earlier as Brendan Maddox gets bumped out of line briefly. The 2 and 75 now getting out to a lead. Let's also remember the 2 and 75 came into tonight tied in the standings. Of course,
right.
Porterville got all those points in the stage, but Johnny couldn't get any, and now here they are together.
Wolfsburg getting left out the drive. I was about to say, there's no one lap down, so Wolfsburg gets a couple yellows. He's back in this thing.
Yeah, he is now, the Lucky Dawn position. Anything can happen. I will say, I think we go probably to within 10 laps to go under green. But I think once these guys start to get anxious about pit stops, I think that's when things might break loose, as they say.
I just thought about it, Andrew. He might have been the lucky dog in that last caution, but he contacted the 5.
Yep.
Oh man, that might bite him. That might come back to bite him. That one's gonna hurt.
Scott Fritz going to lead down the back straightaway this time, coming up on 25 laps to go. Fritz is going to go join Plord over at 6.5 Motorsports next season, along with Wolsifer and Wood. So this is some team building exercises here from the 48 and 38. Plord puts White Lightning in the front. Scott Fritz behind the wheel. Dan Stockero there in third. Good to see him doing well tonight. Josh Parent, he won that stage earlier. He's back up here. Carl Pooler has outlasted it so far. All is up here. 2 Maddox brothers, and they're all back single file.
These engines are split up. They're not saving.
That's fair. That is just an uncanny scene. The turn 1 camera there on the outside on the wall. And these guys, even right here, everybody's single file on the bottom. That is an uncanny scene. I think I've gotten used to it in real life.
Ago, they'd be on the outside wall.
Right. I think I got used to that a little bit in the Gen 6. But even on iRacing, when that was the meta in the real cars, when that was what you would see every Daytona and Talladega race in the Gen 6 in real life, we never had that on iRacing. It never quite got like that. It would be bottom lane, single file sometimes. I recall those conga long days, but you'd never be single file on the wall. A few years ago, you could do it, kind of. But things have changed again, and you just don't get that anymore.
I did ride a couple of those outside lane train races. I had a couple of those. But yeah, I really only see these bottom lane single file races now when like an incident happens and we get strung out or fuel saving.
Good to see Rusty Rafferty out in chat. Official BRB Miss Rachel aficionado. Yes, you heard me right. Well, let's go through the field a little bit here, Emerson. We've got 21 cars still running. Richard Wolsifer is the bottom of the bunch. Of course, he's got all that damage from earlier. There he is. So he's running out there currently in the 21st spot. Needs a couple of cautions to get it back into it. Just ahead of him, though, Sam Dyer in the 35. He's running with teammate Robert Moyer Jr., and they're actually starting to make some passes just as I try to go through the field. They want to mess things up. That's okay. Ray Walker here now in the 20th spot, racing with Jordan White, who's going to pop up high, it looks like. There he is. He started 12th tonight, has some work to do to get back up there, and Evan Patinko hit the wall on his own earlier, trying to get back into this race in the Jeff Gordon 2013 paint scheme. So there he is in the 18th spot. Sam Dyer's now 17th. Jason Bottoms into the 16th position for now. We spoke with him in the previous caution. There's William Maple Jr., newcomer this season. I'm glad to see him out here. He just kind of quietly does his thing and rides around. Adam Buzzio has dropped back down into the 14th spot. He just got a piece of damage in that previous crash and has some damage from the stage ending earlier, but he was at our Who You Got post earlier between Jordan White, Adam Buzzio, and the field. And it has felt like recently Buzzio has been cursed. He's trying to keep his streak alive of winning at least one race every season. Let's see if he can do it tonight. He's won here before, as Dakota Bly runs here in the 13th, now 12th spot. We talked to him earlier in the pre-race show. Dustin Stallings, he has made a switch to go run some Road to Pro a little more often, but he is here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway helping out the Maverick bunch. He actually forewent his chase position this season. He's the defending champion from season number 4, opened this season with a win at Daytona. He can certainly do so again here tonight at Talladega. There's Brendan Maddox, who started 20th, was the points leader into Watkins Glen last week, fumbled it a bit, enters tonight a little ways down the order with Zach Maddox on his bumper currently. They're trying to pass Zach Hall, who won last week at Watkins Glen, rather, to get the 4th win on the season for him. How about, I'm trying to find these guys, they start to get racing here. There's Josh Parent, who won the stage. He's racing here in 6th. Carl Pooler in 7th. And then your leaders. Johnny Wood Jr. came into tonight tied with Stephen Borbell. Had issues there in stage 1. There's Borbell, who got, I think, 7 points in the stage. Dan Stoccaro, who's just here for vibes and Gatorade. And Jamie Plord, who has run part-time this season, but is trying to help out those 6.5 cars just behind Scott Fritz, who will be a future 6.5 driver. And just like that, we're back, double file racing. Pit stop's about 15 laps away, at least. Or thereabouts.
I guess in theory you could pit now, but with the threat of overtime, that is a foolish thought, but the pit window is technically open.
Yeah, you could. You could pit. You don't want to.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a very popular one, that's for sure. Our Pooler to the point. And, well, you know.
Here we go, pit stops. I didn't think you'd want to. But, you know, these guys have other telemetry programs, Emerson, so they're going to know pretty early if they've got the number to do it. I still don't think I would be pitting here, but here you see the bunch that do. Fritz, Plord, Borbell, Wood, Hall, Buzzio, Moyer, Dyer, Maple, and Bottoms all come in. It's certainly a valid strategy. It's again, not one that I would do.
We'll see how it plays out for him.
And, you know, these guys, I think the bigger problem for them is they're filling to just the finish of the race.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
Everyone else is coming, though. There's a response, so I guess it wasn't that unpopular.
Doesn't mean it was right. Just like this kind of fuel saving.
I also agree.
But we'll see. We'll see. These guys obviously have a game they're playing right now, and they're going to see how it works out for them. And, oh, Carl Pooler had to adjust into his box. Let's see, does the 22 hit it? Yeah, he got it pretty good. These guys have been very tame so far in pit lane, but that 71 might be hurting a little bit. Maybe not.
He's in the thick of it. All you need is be in it. Where do they merge?
So everybody pitted there. Hey, if a caution comes out now, that would put Wolfsburg back on the lead lap. He's now 1 lap down. He just passed him.
Position now, yeah.
He needs this. He needs a caution. Here comes Fritz. He's leading that lane. That group of cars that pitted earlier. I don't think he's going to get there. Those Maverick cars, they did it perfectly.
Yeah. It's going to form up a nice pack. I don't know about that group behind the 8.
This little trio has got it made right now. The two Maddox bros, the twins, along with Dustin Stallings. Call it a quartet now as Josh Parent pulls in line. Everybody's got fuel to go to the end, right? So now you need to run as fast as possible. You need to be on your game pushing. And these guys haven't really worried about pushing much for the last 60 laps. So you got to dust those skills back off really quick and just get right back to it and be absolutely flawless here, because you can, if you're this lead group, try to hold the gap over Fritz, but you've got to be perfect.
Well, remember the last time the 23 was pushing, he got glued to the 71. I think the numbers in that second pack, I think, will be enough. I think they're just outside the range of draft right now.
Oh, that's not going to help.
Yeah, they're going to catch him.
Yeah, Zach Maddox now creating a larger hole for those guys to join up, and he's going to lag back in this group just a little bit now, just by nature. That's going to allow Fritz to get some draft.
That'll be enough.
I think so. That's really going to help the 48 car. Well, Emerson, I don't like picking this early with so little decided on a plate track. However, we've got a new driver of the day.
All right. Let's do it.
That's the floor. That's the talking stick. You've got free range. Anyone in this field. We'll do positions gain on the ticker as well. Who you got?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the one who's impressed me all day is the driver who's been in the mix all day. It'll be your driver, 22, Joshua Parent. Man, he's been impressing me today.
There is Josh Parent, so he'll grab a nomination here from Emerson. Who you got for pick number 2?
Pick number 2. Let me see. I'll give it to the driver who's been up front leading a bunch of laps today. I'll give it to Johnny Wood, man. I think he's done pretty well, especially in the second stage.
15 laps led to his name. Obviously had the trouble there in stage 1, but has been able to get back into this race and certainly put up a fight here. Man, oh wow, we've got packs coming together now. The leaders went high. No, low. Hang on. Stallings now goes up to block that lane. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay,
this can get intense now.
We'll pause the nominations for just a moment. I've got them logged, though, for Emerson, so we'll let this play out for just a moment here. Trying to think about where I want to go with this. I mean, and this is close. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give one nomination to Dakota Bly, because he has just been out of trouble keeping the car in one piece. Obviously, a lot of the field has, but he started back in 24th. He's working on that position differential that I interviewed him about earlier. I'm going to give him a nod for driver of the day. Hopefully that isn't a jinx for the number 8. Other than that, Emerson, I want to see some laps led, actually. We can do that on the ticker. We'll go laps led on the ticker. 16 for Fritz. 15 for Wood. Those seem to be the leading numbers out there. A lot of the field has led this race. Almost the entire top 10 has at least one lap led. That's impressive, actually.
Yeah.
I really don't know who to go for here.
When they were saving fuel, everyone was jumping up there getting a lap led.
This is true. This is true.
Oh, Parent in the middle. Oh, he gets down the line.
I'll tell you what. I don't know who to go for. So I'm going to nominate somebody who just simply has not quit. He's been out of this thing since stage 1.
I like it.
Got all that damage earlier. But for the consolation pick, I want to give it to Richard Wolsifer. And I'm sorry, I did not see Kayla's comment in the YouTube chat until now. So what I'll do, before I put up this poll, is I will give her a chance. She wants to overrule me. You know what? It's Talladega. If there's ever a time to let her do so, tonight's the night. So, Kayla, if you have a pick other than the 8 or 56 for driver of the day, now's your chance, and you can pick which one comes out. So Dakota Bly and Richard Wolsifer, they're in. Who do you want to take out? Who do you want to put in, Kayla? Let's see. We'll wait for her in the YouTube chat. But for now, there goes Parent to the outside, squeezes right in front of the 48.
I didn't like the hesitation. I think you got to commit
Yeah.
to make those moves. And he
Stallings
survived that
blocks. Stallings trying to play Pied Piper. That shucks the 22 out of lane. Stallings trying to block the whole field.
Can you do it for 12 laps? Oh, man, that's going to be a tall test. The double zero, he wants it for sure. Here comes the 23. Slam.
So Brendan Maddox has been nominated by Kayla, but she's got to tell me which one to take out. I can only do 4, unfortunately. I wish we could do more. We can only do 4 drivers. We'll give her an opportunity here. As we work lap 89 of 100, just over 11 laps to go. Stockero going to move high. Out of lane in front of the 83 of Jordan White, who stays low. That puts the 62 now ahead of the 48 of Fritz. All right, then I will take out Wolsifer since he's running in the back. We'll keep Bly in here, but we'll put in the 23 of Brendan Maddox. I think that will that'll work. We'll put that vote up now over on YouTube, and if you're not watching on YouTube, you got to get to YouTube and check this one out. 11 laps to go there, Emerson. He has. He's been around, and he had that save earlier after the contact when he was following Carl Poehler. See a few cars in the back, they've fallen off.
Quickly.
So I know we've made our driver of the day picks. That's not exactly a win pick, though. If you got to pick somebody out of this 14-car pack right now, Emerson, knowing what we've seen so far tonight, I don't know that I can do it. I'll try, though. If you pick one, I'll pick one.
I don't know. I'll pick the driver who needs some more time on the session later, man. Jordan White. Only got a 10-minute session right now.
Yeah, you know, that's going to be a popular pick. The Jordan White fan club has been very lively this evening.
Track where something can happen out of nowhere. Could be here.
The Grand Touring Masters Toyota Camry going to check up here. That's sketchy. Onto the apron goes Jordan White. The field scatters behind him, and he gets back on the racetrack. I'll tell you what, you picked one. I'm going to pick Zach Maddox, the 14. Brendan has won here before.
There you go.
Zach has never won a race. I'm going to pick that 14 car to play chase spoiler here this evening, and I don't mean the piece of metal on the back end of the race car. We'll see what the 14 can do. As Stallings plays Pied Piper, watch out!
Stallings! Woo! I don't know if he can do it all the way to the checkers here. He's going to try. Well, Maddox is already under him, I guess.
Aiden Perkins checking in now. He's been a BRB driver for a handful of seasons.
Lamb.
Here comes Parent on the top lane. He's got help from Hall. Fred's going to go block. That gets the 00 out of here. Maybe. He's still got the middle lane.
Perfectly timed move from Scott Fritz.
And Parent's going to leave him. Fritz going to go side draft. This is so far from over. I don't know who's going to get this thing. Maddox now suddenly is leading. Brendan, that is. Brendan Maddox now the leader. Zach Maddox in second. But Josh Parent's got that outside lane behind him. Here's his on board.
Momentum right now, but it gets pulled up here in the back. Oh, or some leaders. Oh!
Watch this. Stallings tried to block again. 2 on the apron. Those are Buzzio and Borbell. Buzzio gets back in lane. Borbell does as well.
Wow.
This is getting sketchy. 3 Maverick cars now, though, leading. And they're going to play for each other. Could this be Carl Poehler's night? Ashley Pooler, are you watching? He's third.
Big run coming on the outside now. Fritz leading it. Who's got behind? He's got.
That's Borbell pushing him.
That's Borbell. And Johnny Wood back there.
And statistically, Emerson, Borbell is the best plate driver in this series. Statistically, he leads most categories. Obviously, we recapped a few earlier that he does not. But the 2-car leads like laps led, wins on these kinds of tracks. I don't know what it is about these restrictor plate races. Borbell seems to have them, his way. I don't know. I don't know if it's Burger King or what. 6 laps to go.
A little
And
squirrely on the bottom.
If this race was a typical 250 miler at Talladega, that would have been checkers right there at 94.
Lap.
That would have been checkers.
Oh, never mind. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, so that would have been it. And these guys have the extra 6 laps tonight. Usually I question why they run 100 here. Now I get it. I've got a lap car ahead in Sam Dyer. Dakota Bly has lost the draft. There they go!
Oh, there they go!
Carl Pooler and more.
Pooler hard into the wall.
Josh Parent.
Johnny Wood.
Johnny Wood Jr. Jamie Plord. Dan Stoccaro. That happened in an instant.
Oh, man.
Blink and you miss it. I mean, that literally just instantaneously.
94 lap races. Oh, they were just all stacked up, man.
Wow.
Oh.
That wasn't a very good look. We'll get a better one here in a moment.
The Maddoxes were just stacking up on each other and accordioning the entire inside lane.
I don't know what was going on for the 23. It seemed like he checked up. The bottom lane just accordions all of a sudden.
Yeah. Really
and
bad.
Pooler and Stoccaro tried to go high. I'm really confused by this.
Too unfortunate for Parent, man. He really needed a good run tonight, and he was doing that.
I'm really confused. And yeah, I mean, just nowhere to go for the 22.
Yeah. It really did. They really did lose speed at a weird point in the middle of straightaway. Essentially, a corner exit where
Let's see.
you're supposed to be gaining speed.
This will show if the 23, I mean, heavily checks up or anything.
Did he side drafted?
Is the side draft that
Would that have
big?
been enough? I don't know. Is it on the Gen 6 car?
I don't feel like it would do that much. But Fritz gets to his right rear. And the bottom just suddenly stacks. I mean, that's really strange looking.
The only explanation I got.
Here's from the onboard of Carl Pooler. This might provide a little more context. They just checked up in a hurry. I mean, nowhere for these guys to go.
Wow. That was a hit. I mean, everyone just collectively in that wall.
Here's Josh Parent's view. Monty has no business trying to use that outside lane again, and they all just stack up and boom, done.
Nowhere to go. Just as you mentioned that we weren't sure why this race gets extended to lap 100, those drivers would have been happy for 94 lapper.
Yeah, probably. You're probably not wrong. The 32 I saw just get through this. He was right behind the 22. Murtis Mega Miss, anybody? Oh.
Woo! Oh. I like that one.
And we can get a look back at that from the 83's perspective as well. I know this will make a lot of the chat happy. Jordan White was just hanging on to the back end. And here's his view.
Almost lost the draft.
So Jordan White is still alive. And I mean, this 100% changes this entire race. It's going to be close. We might be able to have a natural green-white checkered here.
A natural, yeah. You're right.
So we can go 1 to green this next time by the flag stand. That would give us a green flag with 2 to go.
Natural overtime.
I would expect that'll be the case. I would expect it'll be a natural green-white checkered here.
Every time, right? I you know, these overtimes happen in my head, and I know I've seen so many times where an incident does happen. But in my head, I'm like, these cars don't even get spooled up to full speed until like coming off of turn 4. You know, how do we have an incident? And then, sure enough, something happens and it causes another overtime attempt.
It's the weirdest of things too that causes these crashes sometimes. That was strange. That was just a weird little accordion on the bottom from Brendan Maddox being side drafted by Scott Fritz, and it just everybody was on the chip so much that it ends up causing that crash. And here they go. They will double back up and get a natural attempt at a green-white checkered here.
Did we have a lapped car? Get a lap back?
Well, Wolsifer is now 3 laps down. He might have had to pit there again. Because, yeah, I think he might have had to pit right before the caution. So he's now 3 laps down. Johnny Wood is technically 1 lap down. We'll see if he's able to get back out there. I don't think he will. Sam Dyer is the first car 1 lap down, interestingly. He was about to go a lap down. I didn't think he actually did go a lap down. But it looks like he may have. Well, he did. Carl Puller, by the way, is still out there, still running. He's still in it. Sort of.
Get all you can get, man.
It's definitely not running well, but he's still in the race. As there's William Maple Jr., Evan Patinko going to pull up. Hey, Evan's back in this thing.
He sure is, man. After that very, very early, I guess, self-inflicted mistake, I guess is what we'll roll with. To the turn 3.
Boy, I'm getting a little nervous, getting a little anxious here. You know, last week at Watkins Glen, I think, was one of the biggest turning points in this season as a whole. It leveled everybody up for the standings, and we can look back at the standings. This is how they were coming into tonight. Obviously, this is going to change. You know, we had the stage earlier where Parent won the stage, and now he's out of this thing, so scratch him coming back to life. You know, I'm going to say Parent's probably out of it for the championship now. Pooler very likely as well. Clark, I don't know. Boy. Oh, yeah, Clark's going to be done. He's 29 laps down, so there's a lot riding now on this very restart. I thought last week was the biggest turning point. It could be here tonight at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. The Accelerate Studios 266 trying to paint a pretty picture here for the end of this race at Talladega. Here come the runs. Maddox with a run on the outside. He's got the other Maddox pushing him. Stallings behind him. White.
Stallings.
Walker. They're all going forward on the outside.
They're so organized up there.
They get separated, Brendan and Zach. If they get back to the stripe, this race is official. We'll have the white flag, and it's looking like they will. Zach Maddox, he's out ahead, going to try to lead this one and take the white flag. Can they get there? The answer is yes. White flag in the air for Zach Maddox. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Oh, Brendan down low. Come back up. There they go. Massive accident. They're going to keep ripping. Stephen Borbell, he's in it. Junk up front. Buzzio gets through. You're kidding me. I talked about a curse earlier. Can Buzzio get it? There goes Gray Walker low. Buzzio's got a friend in Maple. It's like the remains of the field that once was. Everybody wiped out in 1 and 2. They're packing up behind the 5. Hall, can he get 5 wins? Can he get around these 2? Maple pushing the
What's Maple
ever-living
gonna do?
daylights out of the 5. Maple's not leaving Adam Buzzio, and here they go. To the line. Adam Buzzio is back in BRB victory lane. It comes at Talladega. He keeps the streak alive, and he kills the curse at Talladega.
Fantastic for Adam Buzzio and everyone else. Junkyard in turns 1 and 2.
You know what they call that in skiing? Yard sale.
Yard sale.
All the parts and pieces were littered across turns 1 and 2 there. But Adam Buzzio able to get through it and put the 5 in victory lane. Zach Hall, he got all those stage points. Guess what? He finishes 2nd. He is going to be the biggest thorn in everybody's side here to the end of this season. But Buzzio, from the top rope, gets the Murtis Mega Miss earlier on, and he's going to burn it down here at Talladega Super Speedway. He keeps the streak alive. At least a win every season for Adam Buzzio in that number 5.
Shout out to Maple. I mean, you called it there at the end. Pushing the ever-loving daylights out of the 5. He was glued.
And so the burnout begins for Adam Buzzio. Corbell gives him a shot there on the side.
Just to bring some smoke going.
And this is Talladega. This is finally another race win for that number 5 car. He's been through a lot this season, welcomed his daughter to the world last fall. Oh, and his teammate Maple gives him a shot. Extracurricular celebration here.
Fitting. Maple deserves some credit in that.
Yeah, you think? There's a 21 imprinted somewhere in the back bumper of that number 5. There is very clearly a 21 imprinted. I guess it'd be on the right rear quarter of the 5 car.
Yeah.
But let's go back. Let's let him have his little bit of fun here. It's a little bit longer, and then we got to go back and see what happened there coming to the stripe. Or rather, right after the stripe. Don't worry, we'll get a replay. I still cannot believe it. And there goes the engine for car number 5. So let's go ahead and go back a little bit. This, I believe, is going to be... That's the white flag coming to the stripes. Let's go back a little bit farther. Here we go to the run to the white. I thought for sure the Maddox brothers had this figured out.
23 has some stickum on that bumper, man. The front end earlier, now it's the back end. The 48 is glued to the 23, and
Fritz just hooks him. And then Maddox tries to come back up. I mean, I get it. Last lap of the race, you're not trying to be stuck on the apron, but that ends up ultimately wiping the entire field out.
at least a dozen of them, man. That was... Oh, man, that's rough. Oh. The Maddoxes hit each other for good measure.
Back to the crash here. Let's see how it started one more time. This time from the blimp. Fritz just on the back bumper. Ends up hooking the 23. I mean, it's last lap Talladega festivities. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, somehow Buzzio doesn't get hooked in all that. But the car right next to him does.
This again is a case of, you can be frustrated that you're in the crash, but I don't know that you can really be mad that it happened. Here it is from the fan cam. It's just everybody trying to get through the last lap at Dega. That's some massive hits, though. Cars on top of each other. I think that was Orbell maybe on top of another car? I mean, wow.
You want a front bumper there. Playing there in turn 2, though.
Yeah, here's a look at it from the tower. Jordan White, nowhere to go. Matinko, Bottoms. Wolsifer caught up in another.
Had bookmark putting punctuation on his day.
Yeah, pretty much. If you were in the field, you're in it. It's amazing to me that the 5 got through this, that the 18 got it saved. Wow.
I mean, the only ones who didn't make contact in that incident were the 5 and the 21.
And here you go. Maybe the most mega of all Murtis mega misses. Here it is for Adam Buzzio. Gets down and just drives away. That's incredible.
Oh, and 21 and 32 had a shoving match behind.
Hey man, last lap at Talladega. You got to. Here it is from overhead. Watch that 5 car of Buzzio snake through this crash. He's got 18 on his door and it just spreads. And everybody goes every other direction.
Wow.
He's able to get through it. Maple doors the 32 out of the way. That's part of how he got back to the 5 car so soon. Ray Walker, just the numbers were against him. We've learned now what happened to Evan Matinko, by the way, earlier in this race. A minor temporary screen freeze on entry of turn 3.
That'll do it.
So that's a look at what happened there at the end of this one, the Accelerate Studios 266. Certainly was a thriller there at the end. A natural green-white checkered, and Adam Buzzio able to get back to victory lane. Let's see how the results break down first. And there they are. Adam Buzzio on top. Zach Hall, another big-time finish. First a week ago, second here tonight. It's going to be hard to keep that 32 at bay at Phoenix and Miami. William Maple Jr. there in third. I think this is the first time we'll be talking to him. It is. It absolutely is. First podium for William Maple Jr. As Gray Walker and Robert Moyer grab a top 5. Moyer snaked on through that, it looks like. Evan Patinko, hey, you know what? For all it was, 6th place? That's incredible. Scott Fritz, 7th. Bottoms and Bly, the top 10. Brendan Maddox, 10th. Wow. Bottoms and Bly, that's going to be big for their position differential that I talked about earlier.
It's the Jamaican sensation, Jourdain White. He will finish P11. Dustin Stallings, very aggressive there at the end, leading a bunch of laps, but to no avail to be P12. Zachary Maddox caught up in the big one, P13. Carl Pooler, last car to lead lap in P14. 1 lap down, it's Borbell and Dyer. I'd imagine it's for Borbell, he didn't make it back to the checkers. Wolsifer will finish 3 laps down and in as many crashes today as well for the 56. 75. Johnny Wood Jr. had a great chunk of laps led, but it'll be P18 and 5 laps off the pace for the 75. Dan Stockero, Jamie Plord round out of the top 20, both 6 laps off the pace.
And back to 21st spot, you'll find Josh Parent, 6 laps out of it there at the end, 21st. His season likely going to be wrapped up there as far as championship contention goes, and it may be the same as well for Jourdain White and Evan Patinko. We'll find out here shortly. Cody Dorsey, 22nd. I think Coulter Clark might be out of it as well. Rough night for him. That's a really, really early exit there for car 54. Cole Lewis, Anthony DeSeo out early as well. The big ones happened late here, that's for sure, but Adam Buzzio able to outlast it all and get back to the checkered flag first, unbelievably. Let's dial up driver number 5, and, you know, Adam, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of felt like a curse on you all season. Like, you had speed, just couldn't quite find a way to win. I acknowledged it in the Who You Got post today. And I'm not going to lie, when I thought that when you saw it, and maybe didn't win tonight, you'd blame me for cursing you further. You've lifted the curse. What hex did you put on yourself or put on the racetrack or the whole field? What magic or voodoo did you pull?
I have no idea, man. One, the hex has been lifted, so no blame towards you.
I appreciate it.
But it was a crazy race. I mean, we were in 3 separate incidences. The main one was there on lap, I can't quite remember. I think it was like lap 67. I all but wrecked the car. Richard got into the back of me because I checked up for the big wreck, and I thought we were done, but the car was okay. And I committed to the bottom to my teammates and the bottom pretty much all night. I just kept seeing guys get in trouble on the top, and I committed to the bottom on that last restart, and it just worked out. I can't believe it. I'm literally in shock.
I think that's a perfectly fair reaction. But this is huge for your season, obviously. A bunch of you guys came into this race almost tied for the championship lead. I mean, Corbell and Wood were tied. You were only 3 back. This is going to be huge for you guys. Obviously, Zach Hall, kind of a thorn in your side. He got a bunch of points tonight too, though. So how do you bring the fight to him these final couple of races?
It's going to be tough, man. We're going to have to put in the work for sure. I'm a little more motivated now. I didn't think I would have a shot going into the last couple races here. So just going to put in the laps and try to figure this car out on these different tracks where I haven't personally driven it. So Hall's going to be tough, though. But it's going to be fun, man. No matter how it shakes out, the championship battle is going to be fun these last couple weeks.
2 races to go. We'll see if they favor the 5 or not. Adam, this might just be the biggest clutch win in a while here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series.
Man.
Congratulations. This is going to breathe a whole new life into your championship run. Best of luck these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I'm super excited. Just real quick, I got to give my teammates a shout out. Steven and informal teammate Billy. Billy, I mean, he was committed to us there on that last half a lap, man. He pushed us and helped us get this win. So thanks for everybody that we worked with. Thanks to all our sponsors, and shout out to you guys for the broadcast, and to my wife and my baby girl.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually, about William Maple Jr. First time we'll be talking to him. How excited are you for that? I mean, I know you brought him in as kind of just a friend that wanted to get racing, and here he is now, top 3 at Dega.
Man, I'm so happy for him. He's one of my best friends in real life, and he's just genuinely one of the best humans you will ever meet. We've been racing fans since we were little kids together, so it's super cool to see him, kind of improving, and now to get a top 3 and to get to talk to you guys. Super happy for him, super proud of him.
Adam Buzzio I can't talk tonight. Adam Buzzio, there we go. I get the words out eventually. Adam Buzzio gets it done tonight at Talladega. Congratulations, Adam, and hey, best of luck out west next week.
Thank you, boys.
Buzzio with a big win. That brings us second place finishing Zach Hall, and number 32 certainly looked good this evening, Emerson. I know you liked it enough to nominate it for Best in Show, and it comes home, I think, 3rd in the stage, 2nd in the race.
Oh, man, that was... Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, go for it, man. If you're ready to talk about your day, man. I was going to say, good-looking car and great day again for this 32 machine.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, I cannot ask for a better finish for me for that. I mean, I came in here tonight just saying, survive, make it through, get whatever points I kind of can, and I think I got 4th there in the stage even. I think to get 2nd there, I don't know how I made it through. I got very blessed by the iRacing gods there, because I definitely ghosted through a car, so I should have ended up pretty much broken there, but luckily sometimes, in racing online, you get lucky in these things, and was able to get back around there. I was kind of focused on pushing Adam because we'd all been working together all throughout the night. Our teams kind of were deciding to pit together and stuff. So I was like, if I can help the 5, I'm going to try to help him. And I didn't even realize that William and then we're already working with Adam too. So I had no clue he was working with him. So as soon as we come off the floor, I was like, I'm going to side draft him so he can't, try to get a run on him. And luckily it got me up to 2nd even. So that was about as good as I could ask for. And man, I am super excited after that one, because I could have definitely been back there 16th, 17th, on the tail end of the lead lap after that wreck.
So we're actually watching it on the slow-mo right now. You kind of get through this wreck, so I guess I'll see. Oh, wow, the 0 right on your nose. You know what? I think you're right about it. Oh, wow. But Zach, again, just stacking up the great runs. Well, I guess before that, big picture, we'll talk about what the strategy today. Like you said, you're pitting with the 5-car team and all that. What was going through your mind with all the fuel saving? Were you on board with all that? Were you wanting to kind of run harder, or what's going through your mind in the fig of this race? A good chunk of it running single file fuel saving. Where was your head at?
Yeah, you always got to seem to do a little bit of fuel saving at these places, especially when it's kind of close, and even when it's not close, you kind of, you try to save as much as you can by keeping up, And if people are going to slow down and allow you to save more, you'll take that chance. But I know at one point there, we were going so slow in the middle, and I was like, we're like 3 laps to the good here to get to our window where the guy leading will be completely fine at the end of this, into the very last pit stop. So I was kind of like, hey guys, we need to go. And I think at that point we actually did. I think I got working there with Johnny Wood and those guys, and we went forward there and kind of brought the pace back up. Everybody was like, all right, we need to pick it back up. So it's one of those ebbs and flows, because you can slow down so much here, sometimes fuel saving and getting stuck in that you're running 3-4 seconds off the pace. And if you actually just go fast, sometimes you'll actually make up that pit stop difference. So it is always an interesting thing when it comes here. But I was definitely on board with the fuel saving, just trying to make numbers. You know, if you can get to that certain number you got and you're confident, okay, we can for sure not have to save fuel after that point, not kind of put anybody at a risk, I was willing to do that. So we were on the early stops, and as soon as we could make it, pretty much all night.
Well, big picture, Zach, you're going to be looking good. Don't know exactly where the standings stack up for you, but it should be pretty nice with this 32 machine. Phoenix and Homestead coming up, two more rounds. What say you about them? How you feel? Not especially that you're going to be in more control over these races, as you know, as opposed to Talladega or even walking a little bit like a wild card. You're going to be in more control with these two races.
I'm super excited for these last two. These are, I think, kind of right in my wheelhouse. I've performed really well in the mile and a half this season. I think Phoenix will be the critical one for me. I think Homestead should be able to perform well. I mean, you can get caught up in stuff, but I know I'll have speed there at least. I think Phoenix will be the track that really just need to focus on going there and getting the best finish I can. I know sometimes it can be a struggle for myself, but also sometimes I've had great dominant races there. So I really need to figure out how to drive the car this week and just be prepared for anything, because I was 31 points out at one point leaving Michigan after the first race, thinking, well, I don't know if I really have a shot. Now I might have came out of here. I don't know how close I'll be. I was 6 points coming into here, so I think I'll even be closer after the finish. So we'll have to see how that works out. But man, two final tracks I'm definitely super confident for in this Sim Precision Prince Chevrolet.
But there you are, starting P3, finishing P2 for car 3-2 today, and 2 laps led for you, Zachary Hall. Congratulations on the second place finish tonight, and best of luck to you as you round out the season, man.
Thank you, guys.
And Zach Hall, certainly, I think, is probably the favorite going into these final couple of races of this season for the points. We'll see exactly how it all breaks down in these final couple of rounds, but let's go back here in the replay, and let's bring in this third place driver, William Maple Jr., who going into the final lap, Emerson, was much, much further back than I think you might typically expect a third-place finisher to be. There you see the full picture. William, as we bringing in here, you're about 9th or 10th, taking the white flag. Can you believe that you just pushed Adam around to the win here after all of that through these 100 laps?
No, I can't. That was crazy. I can't believe I made it through that wreck, especially being on the top line there.
Played every card right, got through that finish there, the crash there at the end to make the finish back around at the start finish. And, I don't know what experience you've got in iRacing. You were kind of brought in a few races late into the season, told you were a really good personal friend of Adam. We don't know much about you. So when did you get your sim racing started, and how new are you to the sim to go out here and race with these guys and put up a third place tonight?
Pretty new to iRacing, to be honest with you. I just got a gaming PC this past year, probably about 8 months ago. I really got into iRacing. Before that, I dabbled a little bit with a gaming PC and a G29, but I just recently got a the Logitech, the better wheel, along with VR, and a better gaming PC. Before that, I raced Gran Turismo pretty much the last 10, 15 years or so.
Has the adjustment met your expectations from Gran Turismo over here to the iRacing world?
Oh, it's completely different. I thought I was racing a sim with Gran Turismo, but it's a completely different animal switching over to iRacing. I was more into like the road courses and stuff like that, when I first started. But knowing I was going to come into this league, I started practicing more and more ovals. Started to kind of get the hang of it, and just started doing a little bit better and better, in the ovals. But I think this finish was just kind of pure luck, getting through that wreck. But just very happy with how we finished tonight.
Hey, at these kinds of racetracks, it's often better to be lucky than good. And William, good to talk to you for the first time. Maybe we'll be talking to you some more with how these last couple of races could go. Have you tried Phoenix and Homestead yet?
No, I mean I've raced, online multiplayer, but I haven't, raced maybe with this setup in this car. But I guess when that week comes up, I'll practice a little bit more now, and maybe this gives me a little bit more incentive to do a little bit better in this league. I know I sure did have a lot of fun tonight. Wasn't a big fan of drafting before all of this, but normally I tend to get pretty unlucky and get caught up into the wrecks. I just got really lucky this time, got through everything, and saw Adam and wanted to push him to a win. I am sorry, about slamming the 32 car there. I didn't see him. I thought I was completely clear, so I apologize to him, and I'm glad he got second place, this race.
Hey, it's all fair in Love and War, and it's all fair in Talladega racing on the last lap. William, good to talk to you. Congratulations on this third place finish, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
William Maple Jr. with the big one here at Talladega Super Speedway, and boy, third place for somebody this brand new to sim racing and everything, especially iRacing and jumping into it here, Emerson. That's awesome to hear, and certainly I think has to have him optimistic about what could be the rest of the way in his iRacing career. But boy, this was a wild one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. You had everything, man. We had the early strategy play, the early aggression in stage one. We even had a couple incidents there in stage one that probably could have been bigger or bigger cautions, and then just a lot of fuel strategy there in the middle, and I guess chaos there at the end. Yeah, I guess controlled chaos up until the last lap. Everything you want out of a Talladega playoff race as a spectator with not a specific driver in the fight, you probably got it. If you had a specific driver that you were rooting for out there, whew, that was a stressful one for sure. And coming up, Phoenix and Homestead. I mean, two very when you think of ending the season, back when we watched NASCAR every week growing up, Phoenix and Homestead were the marquee ones here at the end of the schedule. So it's nice to see that BRB has gone with Phoenix and Homestead, a more traditional close to their schedule for this season, and it should be a lot of fun. Big one, 175 laps of Phoenix. Very, very different than any other oval you go to. Coming up next. That should be fun, and then Homestead's always a blast, and stock cars. So, I mean, you have a fun close to the season coming up here, Andrew.
Yeah, going to be some interesting races these last couple of rounds of season number 5, but we've still got to give out a Driver of the Day award. The North American Racing League Driver of the Day award will go to driver number 8, Dakota Bly, able to get it as he raced back to the stripe. There you see him passing a wounded Brendan Maddox. He was wounded himself, though, Dakota Bly. He was able to get by that 23 car, though, and finish 9th here this evening, just behind teammate Jason Bottoms. So the Driver of the Day award does go to driver number 8, and I think certainly the Murtis Mega Miss has to go in style to driver 5 tonight, Adam Buzzio, with the win here at Talladega Super Speedway. One more time, of course, a big thank you to all of our partners for making this happen for the series: Sundance Pizza, Sundance Trucks, Ideal Lease, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, MXWraps.com, and tonight's presenting partner, Accelerate Studios. A big thank you as well to our partners here at the channel: Whiplash SimCams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, and CC's Business, and of course, the North American Racing League. And the North American Racing League is also next up on our list of broadcasts. There you see it. The AM drivers on track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course this Thursday evening. GT3 cars doing battle on a combination oval road course. It was a lot of fun last week with the pros. The AM guys are a little more rambunctious at times, a little more reserved at times. We'll see what kind of mood they have this Thursday evening before we crown a champion It may well be Alex McCullum, or it could be Cole Caver. We'll find out this Thursday in the Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series as they head out to the virtual Lucama, North Carolina at Southern National Motorsports Park. And then this Sunday morning, not evening, this Sunday morning, we go racing once again with the All-American Racing Network in their third race of 2026. That'll be at the Dover Motor Speedway. I'm excited to see. That's going to be a home race for a bunch of those drivers. There's a cluster of them, all from New Jersey. So that'll be a home race for them. I'm excited for that this Sunday morning. But Emerson, all of these broadcasts and more, all across social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, Facebook, Pit Stop TV. Instagram, it'll be at pit_stop_TV. TikTok at Pit Stop TV1. Twitch at pit_stop_TV. The X page at Pit Stop TV _. Of course, more than likely you're watching us at the YouTube page, youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. And of course, everything Pit Stop TV is ready for you at pitstoptv.com.
That will do it for us this evening from Talladega Super Speedway. Emerson, it sounds like it's your last one of the season. What do you make of all this chaos here tonight, and really last week as well, to work towards capping the season off here?
Well, if there's any two races I would have handpicked to help you out with the season, Watkins Glen and Talladega back-to-back probably would have been right up there. Yeah, they were fun. And more than anything, looks like you got a great group of drivers here. I love that they, jumped series cross on the channel. I love that they're with us as much as we are with them. And yeah. BRB looks like it's a fun group here, and I for sure would like to see about maybe getting in on some more broadcasts with them in the future.
That's the hope. Well, this will do it for us this evening from Talladega Super Speedway. The Accelerate Studios 266 goes to Adam Buzzio. He lifts his own curse, and the Who You Got curse. He goes to victory lane tonight here at Talladega Super Speedway. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll see you next time, hopefully Thursday evening, for our doubleheader with the North American Racing League Indianapolis and the Sarah Super Series from Southern National. We'll see you then. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him. to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 showing a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow.